Welcome to Counsel India. This is a third talk show. There has been two talk shows, and the talk shows have been so popular among people. There have been so many audience. Every time we are having to extend the time, unfortunately, for many people. But for many people, this was an amazing experience. So, my name is Suveen. I will be your host and coordinator. I formally want to welcome you, all the experts of counselors and psychologists that we have. At the same time, I also want to welcome all the audience. They are almost in number, almost 60. They will have their own questions during the talk show. Let me simply give you a format how this talk show is going to be, and then so that you already have the understanding how we are going to move from one place to another. So to put it simple, we will start from introduction. So I'll be introducing you all panelists, all the guests that we have here. And then we have top 10 questions selected that we have receiving from a lot of audience on Counsel India platforms. We have squeezed the number down to 10. There were almost 160 questions. First is going to be your introduction. Then second is going to be the list of questions that we have. All the panelists from the audience will be able to, they should be answering those questions that we have here. And then afterward, if we will have a 5 rapid fire questions from the panelists, and then gradually, whatever number of questions we get from the audience, we will be asking our panelists. If audience want to ask to a certain panelist, they certainly can do. Otherwise, we'll be answering, and you will be answering on behalf of Counsel India. So this is how the basic format gonna be. We can get started now, if you are all ready and settled. Okay, very good. Let's see. Let's get started then. So I am very happy to find there's a lot of, just like before, we again have the list of panelists with what I really like about the panelists is their diversity that they have, coming from different backgrounds, having a different expertise, either a corporate background like Shristi, and gradually I'll be talking about this, people especially from background coming from psychology or counseling, dealing with people with disabilities, and every mixed kind of panelists that we have. I'll also be happy to let you know that there are a lot of audience, a lot of people from RCI. They are in the audience. We wanted them to be a part of it. They wanted to be a part of it, but something happens to people initially. Getting on a camera, or maybe to be a panelist. So they were quite. They were thinking that just in case, let us just hear once, watch once how it works, and maybe then we'll be comfortable enough to do that. So, okay, we'll talk about that. We'll see how it works. I think, Siddharth, thank you. Good to see you here. We got to know that nature is coming in between, but this was really nice to see you here. Great. You're on mute, Siddharth, but anyway, don't worry about it. So let me formally just tell who these people are, wonderful people are. So we have here Amita Devnani, and she's a counseling psychologist. She's also a TA master and parenting expert. We have Shadi Natarajan. She's a counselor, life coach, therapist, and has worked with special children. We have Shraddhanjali Dasgupta. She's a consultant psychologist, worked with people with disorder and disability. We have Shristi Asthana. She's counseling psychologist. She is also organizational psychologist and has been working as in the capacity of learning and development manager and a social worker. Then we have Suchitra Thakkar. She is a counseling psychologist, hypnotherapist, and tarot card reader. And then we have Siddharth Sanyal. He's a clinical psychologist, has completed conflict management, advanced counseling, and rehabilitation psychology. Then we have Archana Jambusaria. She is a counselor and psychotherapist. She has expertise in parental and child counseling, marital counseling, and depression and anxiety, OCD and EDC, anything that you can name related with clinical psychology and all. So I'm really happy to onboard you. I'm really happy to see you as a panelist, and we will get started. Before I set the rule, I think I might want to set the rule, the basic hygiene of webinar, what we want to do then. So if you, unless you have something to say or you have to say something, keep yourself on mute. Anyone and everyone, especially if there is a background noise. There is no background noise. It is as calm as Himalaya. Let it be as it is. No problem at all. Try to be as informal as possible, because this is not an interview. Do not worry about this. This is one of the community and platform and a show where you can literally be you. That's something that we learn in psychology, giving a safe learning environment. I think Shrishti can understand when I say safe learning environment. People should not feel that they are being judged, they are being targeted, they are being questions. So be just the way you are, absolutely the way you are, okay? If you have anything, don't feel embarrassed at all. If you don't remember, you missed anything at all. I will be here to navigate your entire show. You know, what questions you will be answering, what questions you are interested to answer, what question you want to answer again, where you want to add your piece in between. So do not worry about this. Sit in the boat. I'll be sailing. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. So the first part of the session, the first part of the show is that I have a list of questions, top 10, that I'll be starting and asking from the panelists. But before that, let me set the tone here. So as you know, the topic, suicidal thoughts. We have been doing a very different kind of shows lately, but we really insisted, being a psychology company as Counsel India, we really wanted to ensure. So when we came in a picture, we just did not want to come in a picture as one of the psychology company or counseling company. We wanted to come in a picture being the most creative and innovative company possible, where we have a lot of people, a lot of talents, a lot of brains in India. What we also realize is that somewhere, when it comes to counseling and psychology, people are still very traditional. We wanted to be disruptive, because there are a lot of people, a lot of demands of counseling and psychology outside. So we wanted to see, can we simplify counseling? This was a question. Counseling, psychology sounds so medical. People stay away from it. What they also fail to realize, even if they have the highest degree, that this is not for them. They are the master, they are the experts. It is for the counseling. So unless the counseling and psychology, they all has been simplified, there is no way this is going to be available for ordinary audience. So our key theme is to simplify counseling and psychology. We're trying to be as innovative as possible. We have started our own network. We are going to start our own platform, just like a Netflix, where you will have the rare videos, you will have rare interviews, rare documentary, everything from worldwide counselors and psychologists. We are also going to start a lot of mental health related products, where, because you can't find on Amazon, you don't even know if the products are right or not, because anyone is selling anything. So we wanted to ensure that we have the right people, we have the people with the right degree, we have the people with authenticity. They are the ones who recommend things. So we have a huge plan, especially to begin with in India, that how we can make this counseling approachable to every home. The truth is that we are right now working to ensure every home has a counselor. Only and only if we start taking care of our loved ones, we won't be dependent on someone else. Every home has someone, so that anything happens around, and you know that the demand of counseling is no longer a luxury. It's gone. This is a necessity now. Used to be a time when this was a luxury for people. I remember, I heard someone saying that counseling is for rich people. I don't think. If depression is not for rich people, I think neither should the counseling be. So we are just wanting to disrupt the old pattern. We are also trying to make the counseling as attractive as possible, as lucrative as possible, and we just wanted to onboard all the professionals possible and make something new out of it. Talking about the suicidal thought. Well, we have a list of questions I was always wondering. everyone knows the suicide is not nice, especially when something like this happens, or when the thought comes. One of the surprising things you will see in people is people, especially the ones who generally, they oof kind of suicide, like, I don't think I can do that, or maybe people shouldn't be doing that. It's very bad to see sometimes, unfortunately, the people who would inspire others not to even think about this end up doing something. The rate has been really, really fast these days. And this is one of the preventive talk shows that we wanted to bring in a picture, that how to stop that thought. And if that thought comes, is it possible to let it leave? Because many times there are two words here, controlling and managing. There are things that you can control, but there are things you can't control, we can certainly manage. So if the thoughts do come, is it possible to let it go? The list of questions that I have are very important, that provokes somewhere or ignite the suicidal thought. I'll be expecting you to give the best possible answers, solution-oriented answers to our audience, so that they can have really good takeaways. I'm sure not everything we talk, not everything we say will matter to everyone, but I promise you will certainly matter to someone who's listening to you right now. So keeping that in thought, I want to start with the first question that we have in the question list. So there are people, and I've been counseling more than 8 years almost. I've counseled maybe close to 10,000 people, including group counseling and individual counseling. So the first question that I want to ask from the panel, what to do? Many people do suicide because of the way they look. They're short, their physical attributes. Maybe, they are dark enough, or maybe they're not beautiful enough, not handsome enough, one or the other reason. There are things they can't change. So the question here happens is, what to do when you cannot change the way you look? You just can't change. You might want to change the way you sound. So I remember I joined BBC World Services so I had a training of as a radio artist in 2014. And they said a really nice thing. He said that you may not change the way you look unless you want to be a Michael Jackson, but you can certainly change the way you sound. So he was inspiring us, on enunciation, pronunciation, and everything else. So this is a question. What to do if you cannot change the way you look? What you should be doing? This sometimes becomes. Okay, I want to start from Suchitra Thakkar. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, according to me, it is like, the way you look, it is God-given. So I don't think you should think that what do I do? What can I do to change myself? How do I look? Just think that the way you are, start liking yourself, dress up in a way, look yourself into the mirror and see how you look, and don't think the negative things. Even if you have any problems or disorder, or your color, either you are dark complexion or fair or whatever, just admire yourself, look up to yourself and start liking yourself. And when you start liking yourself, I think that perspective of yours will automatically change, that what do I do when I cannot change myself, the way I look. I think whatever way you look, you are the better. So when you look up yourself in the mirror, you directly gaze yourself in the mirror and you start liking the things about yourself. Start imagine the way you look, how the people look at you, how they are admiring at you. So don't think what negative things they are thinking about you. Always think some positive things. So I think there is no need to change yourself. Whatever you look, whatever looks you have is God given. So be happy and just admire yourself That is what I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. I will also be working as an extractor here. So my job would be like, out of your 5 minutes of conversation, 2 minutes, 1 minute, what is the one point? So I'll be like, take away, I'll be doing the job to take the takeaways. So I think, and I will certainly try to relate this from the audience perspective. So consider me from the audience perspective. I belong to them. So I think if I can extract one thing is, and I really want to validate the point, has it ever happened with you that many people hate their voice, right? A recording voice, especially. I know I don't want to listen. I really sound bad, but you know that the reason why it happens because you're not familiar with your recording voice. The more often you start listening to your recording voice, the more often you start seeing yourself in a picture, you start liking yourself. The reason most of the time. So I think this is a great point here. The more you're familiar, the more you live with your own body structure, persona, see around, feel, touch around, you start feeling comfortable with it. And you don't even know. So I think that's a takeaway, certainly, that the more you start living with your body, the more you realize you're absolutely in a sync. There's nothing different about you. Thank you very much. Thanks for the point. Anyone else want to say on this? What to do? Yes. And I'll be taking one by one. So there can be a competition, me and me. Promise me, I'm a good guy. I can remember everything. So yes, I'll start from Dr. Rachana and then I will come. Yeah.
So basically, I feel that first question comes that why you need to change.
Oh, yeah.
You have to accept what you are. This is your individuality. If you are looking from others' point of view, maybe the other person doesn't like you or they have some nasty comment or not good comment towards you, you accepted that. So that is giving you you're buying their judgments, and then you are making in that oh, I need to look change, I'm not looking good, or people need to accept me, because looking good and acceptance, people coordinate with that.
Oh, yeah.
So looking good, the presentation and acceptance both are different. So the people need to understand this is your identity, this is your individuality with physicality, mental and emotionality. Every way you look, every coordinations, if you do this three coordination, that will create a complete look. People look at the halfway that what physicality I'm looking or emotional. No, I think so. The look is all together. The physical, emotional, your aura, your energy, everything. That mixing together is giving you a perfect look. And that is your comfortable, your comfort, your accept, your individuality matters a lot than the society. So that is what I feel, that people should not buy a judgment or views of societies or other people. They have to stick to their individuality. They have to learn to be pampered yourself, and you have to be happy with whatever they are.
Great. One thing that I would say from the audience, think that acceptance, between acceptance and looking good, I think. Because why it matters in the first place, how I look, maybe because I'm not accepted somewhere. Somebody had that comment, and that sticks and stands in our mind all the time. So I think, if we can really find a way between, and a bridge between being accepted and looking good, then the pressure of looking bad, I think, will literally go down. If the amount of being accepted somehow starts going up, things will stop mattering. Similarly, like, in a house, when you have few children, it doesn't matter how they look in the house. Like, I can tell, it would never matter how my sister look, never, to me, because it's totally acceptance. They may not be accepted outside. So I think people can, this is a great point, if people can start working around being accepted more, will be much, much beneficial than changing the way they look, because of course they can't change the way they look. So I think that's a really great point. Thank you very much, Dr. Archana. I'm sorry, who was next, please? Take care. Amita Devnani and Shadi. Shadi, your name comes with S, that's the last in alphabet, so I think I'll pick Amita. Yes, please.
So for me, first we will have to acknowledge what that person is sharing, that they have some, if they have some body issues or body shaming issues, we should acknowledge really that they are going through some problems, and then we should actually give them tips to accept themselves fully as they are and as they are not. and then sitting with them and just making a list of things, which good things they have in them, what skills they can develop, and they can build themselves, their self-worth and their self-confidence. So this is my.
Oh, very good. So you're mirrored with reality, right? So, and I think this is when I always say that being a counseling or psychologist, people say the truth hurts. No, not when the counselor says. This is my, I always believe in this. So as a counselor, a psychologist, you should be so good or excellent that even truth may hurt when others says, or not when a counselor says. That should be a beauty. That should be the ambition of a counselor. When I say the truth, this will be like a flower. It won't be like thorns. So I think telling
It will be like a reflection. It will
absolutely.
be like a reflection, and they can accept themselves as they are. Then they will start moving ahead.
True. So telling the truth in a way that people, it doesn't break. Rather, people can get away, get familiar with the reality, and they can move ahead. All right, beautiful. Thank you very much. I'll come to Shadi. Yes, Shadi, what do you want to say?
From my side, first and foremost, the amazing panel already made all the points that I was going to make. Just a few points. One is that self-acceptance, as Dr. Archana so beautifully put it, because there is always something in us that we don't like, and there is something that we like. That I think it goes by all of us. Nobody feels they are perfect. Even the person who's perfect to others' eyes will find something with herself or himself he just doesn't like as such. And if we work on our self-worth and self-love, as Anita ma'am said it very clearly, I think that is where we can hit the nail on exactly on the point. If we have value for ourselves, how we look and whether people accept us the way we look will completely be secondary, because we know what are we worth, So what is the appearance is not what we are actually. We go much deeper in ourselves.
All right, beautiful. Thank you so very much. Thank you. And anyone else wanted to say?
I can give my example.
Okay, I will take Siddharth, and then I will come to add a follow-up thing. Just we want to add up. So, okay. Yes, please. And Siddharth, please confirm me. You're on mute, so you need to unmute, and then confirm me. Should I call you Siddharth or Siddhartha? Hold on. You need to unmute yourself. There must be a button. Yes.
Yes. Yes, I'm Siddhartha.
Okay, cool.
Audible?
Oh, perfect. Please.
Okay. So it is when we are talking about the acceptance, especially self-acceptance, almost every time I met such an issue with my clients, I used to tell them, talk with your loved one. The friend, it may be a friend, it may be a relative that you love and trust, and ask him or her which quality he finds positive within you. And this way you can make a list of positivity within you, and so that you can accept, yes, there are some positive things within you that other person can see, and this way you can accept yourselves. And you can accept as well as the positive things and the negative things. First, you have to accept, yes, you have some positive things, and then you can accept that, yes, you are a mixture of positive and negative things. This helps to accept a person as an, what to say that about his look.
Right. Got you. I think beautiful. Very, very nice here, because so what you're trying to say is that have so much positivity, know so much positive things about you that it ends up overriding the negativity.
Exactly.
You're telling that negativity won't go, but if the positivity is higher, people are noticing. You will feel the power by that. So your positivity will overpower your negativity.
It gives you the confidence to build up your acceptance, so that you have so many positive things.
Absolutely.
So yes, I can accept that some negative things can be within me. So easy to accept.
Good. Yeah, it's like, you already know that you have a lot of money. It's easier to accept. They know restaurants are closed because you have a lot of money. This is okay. All right, very good. Thank you so very much. Yes, who wanted to add? Dr. Archana, you wanted to add something? And
yes.
Yes. Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you very much. Yes.
The people always, there is a notion that people are always connect the looks and confidence together.
Oh,
So
yes.
there is always, and they are very highly influenced with the Bollywood industries, that, like, they have to look good. So amount of the confidence they will have, then the acceptance level comes. So this kind of the things is there in the youth. And so they always be like, because in some age, they are always be influenced by the Bollywood and the looks and the style and everything. So they feel that gives them a confidence, and this confidence will, like, accepting, the things, and this look, they will look better. So this kind
Absolutely.
of the notions are always be playing in their head.
Absolutely. Very good. I will just say one line in a takeaway. Nawazuddin Siddiqui, he
Yeah, true.
mentioned this because of his look, how he was rejected, and confidence. He's the perfect example. So one word confides all. Thank you very much. Suchitra Thakur, what do you wanted to add, ma'am?
Uh, yes, actually, I was wanting to give my own example.
Okay.
Like, I am short-sighted. Yeah. So initially, I used to think when I was in school, ki Bhagwan, yeah, why God has made me, so short, and rest of my friends are so tall, and I used to feel very inferior, having that inferiority complex in me.
Absolutely.
Gradually, when I went to college and I started studies, and I was, going on studying and getting good marks and getting success in my life, then I thought, yeah, so what if I am short-sighted? But God has given me intellectual mind, and I'm getting all the success which I wanted in my life. And in school also, when I was teaching, gradually from teacher, then I became a coordinator, and so on and so forth. So this is on, you have to look yourself and don't think what others are saying and what negative thoughts come into your mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very good. Thank you so very much. This was beautiful. Tika, we will move to the next questions. I think you guys really, this is the beauty. I also enjoy the talk show because, I get to not only just learn, but what I love things is I love perspective. Given a different perspective that you never thought about it. Like, really? Oh, okay. So that's a new knowledge. The new knowledge is something, even if you get one new knowledge, a piece of it, you're like, wow, all right. That's something is really beautiful and nice. Very good. Very good. The second question that we had is, and I think this is a question is responsible for a lot of suicide and suicidal thought that I'm going to ask right now. Audience really couldn't figure out. And a lot of questions were similar to this, and they wanted to know how to get out of the guilt, shame, and regrets in life. It's very heavy. Sometimes there are guilt, you're never going to get over from this. This is going to remain. This is okay. People have guilt, they have shame. But sometimes these guilt, the shames trigger you so much, that suicidal thoughts start coming in mind. What to do? Is it possible at all to get out of this? If not, how to manage this? How to undo things and what to do? Can this be undone? Guilt and shame. What to do about this? Please, Amita Devnani. Yeah.
So for me, if someone has shame and guilt feeling so much, we should try to, as a counselor, develop their self-compassionate to forgive themselves. As we forgive others very easily if they have done something, but to forgive ourselves sometimes become very difficult for us. To showing them different examples, different perspective, and uh, developing their self-compassion through different techniques, we can do this.
Okay. Something that you mentioned, Amita, here, so beautiful. People have been saying this thing for years. A lot of people say this. I want to simplify this for the audience, because what is self-forgiveness and how to self-forgive and why to self-forgive? Because people are not able to self-forgive. Like, how do I do this? I mean, I'm the same person. I'm the one who did it. How do I forgive myself? So I think for the audience, I want to say that you realize that you are never the same person. If someone calls you by the same nickname people used to call you when you were a kid, you hate it. Why? Because you are never the same person. If your virtues are not the same, neither is your sin. There's your mistakes. You're never the same person. You're never the same person. So that is the reason. Now, when you talk about self-compassionate or being compassionate about yourself, it's important. And why it is important to be compassionate and self-compassionate? Because the world is anyway not.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you are the only one who have known you, seen you, lived with you, know the truth inside the truth and lies inside the lies, if you are not with you,
And who will be with you? That
so that's just wanted to simplify for the audience. Thank you very much. That was
Thank
good. Yes, Shadi.
Thank you for simplifying it.
Yeah, beautiful. Yes, Shadi, yes. And then I'll come back to
very,
others now.
yeah, very beautifully said about forgiveness. I like to just mention one sentence, and that is something that we forget, that perfect is for God. We are not perfect. We definitely are all imperfect human beings. And one thing we have to remember is that people really have no bad intention, and that applies to ourselves. We don't do things on purpose. We don't go and sabotage our own life or our dear one's life. We do things, we make choices at that moment because it feels right at that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we need to be kinder to ourselves for it. You can't take yourself so hard. So, to be so hard on yourself that I made that choice and it was wrong. We have to remember, nobody is perfect. We all are imperfect, and we need to be kinder, and we need to have forgiveness for ourselves, like we forgive others. We forgive ourselves. That's just the point.
Absolutely. All right. We will get to listen different beautiful languages because people have joined from all over.
That was not mine.
Yay! Dialects. This is
Yes,
we have started liking this ever since this lockdown all happened. People doing a lot of webinars, seminars, everything. The kids are coming, they are coming. So it's so, it's good because you get to know the personal space of people, and you feel, vulnerability is the easiest way to gain trust, to begin trust when someone gets to know that. Great, thank you very much, Shadi. This was really beautiful. Thank you for adding. Who else wanna say? Yes, Tika.
Can I say?
Yeah, certainly. Yes, Shraddhanjali, yes. And then I'll come to Dr. Archana, and then Shristi, I will also come to you. Shristi is very calm and composed. He's like, oh, let me hear. There's a lot of people. Okay, very good. Yes, please.
There is an English proverb which goes on to error is human. So we all are not perfect. So why can't we forget everyone? When we are forgetting our parents, what they did with us, or our friends, what they did with us. So why can't we forget us? So that is the main thing. When the thing is that error is human, everyone knows what to do and what not to do. But basically the thing is that we can forget ourselves when we can forget everyone. Why can't we forget ourselves? So we can keep in mind. That the thing is that we can obviously forget ourselves. If we can forget our family, friends, relatives, we can definitely forget ourselves also. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So what you're saying is, if forgetfulness or maybe forgetting turns out curse for you, why don't you use it as a boon? Why don't you use this for you? Generally, this works against you. Like people blame you that you have forgotten me, you have forgotten this. Okay, why don't you use for you? Why don't you forget the bad moments? A part of you, like, Shadi said that. It felt right at that moment. Who are the people who can confirm Shadi's statement? Everyone, basically, if you learn criminology, then you will realize when you will speak with those people, they will tell you the exact same line. This felt right at that moment. Question is, you cannot keep carrying that moment your lifetime because the moment died then and there. If this was only about moment, the truth is, this was only about moment because right now you don't feel good about it. So, okay, beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you, Shraddhanjali. Yes, who else? I was like, yeah, TK. Dr. Archana, you want to say, yeah?
I feel, first of all, people need to understand that what happened, where they will go into the guilt and this shame or this kind of the emotions. So for that, they will understand. And second step, accept it. The most important is to accept that this has happened, this unpleasant event happened or mistake happened. Right. The moment you accept it, the half the battle you have won. And then just gently, treat your emotion with a gently, and there is a will, there is a way. So rebuild your emotion in such a way with your own strength, or with the support of the professional or your family or your friends or something who knows your strength, who is very close ones to you, your dear ones, who can help you to come out from this with a gently, with the time. And you have to give a time to yourself to come out from everything, and that would be better, I think.
I got you. So acceptance is playing a big
Yes.
role here, big role here. Okay, I'll come to Siddharth, but I think Shristi, I'll take Shristi. Shristi is really shy, otherwise she's a L&D manager, but she's very shy, raising her hand. Please.
No, actually, I'm not shy. I'm just like speaking in my turn.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Don't. I think that this is a perfect place to be shameless. Don't, because this is a time to give a lot of message to your audience. Please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so this first of all, thank you for having me. And the topic is something that's very close to me. I'm a big advocate for all mental health causes, but suicide attempts, suicidal ideation is something I speak on all the time. And I think more than my studies in psychology or counseling sessions, I've learned through my own life. And I've had suicidal ideation throughout my teenage. And also I come with a family jahan pe there have been a lot of severe mental health issues.
Okay.
So when I was a teenager, my mother, she has schizophrenia. So it's like pretty much the most severe disorder you can have in psychiatry. And so what happened, guilt is a topic I completely understand. So one morning I was just being my teenage self, like having an argument with my mother that, you just cook the same old nonsense every day. I don't want to eat your food. And I left for school saying, I don't want to eat your food. And when I came back from school, I find out that she had attempted suicide. She's alive. She's healthy now. But she did a lot of self-harm because she felt so guilty of not being able to even take care of her daughter's basic needs. So that I started loathing and hating myself, for years. Until one point, someone told me that, listen, you were a teenager. You didn't do anything out of the, ordinary. In fact, I think you're a very sensitive person, but it's okay. You did it. You have to accept it. So it was really hard for me to not blame myself that I caused that. But arguing yourself with facts and arguing yourself, the most negative side of you, everyone has a very negative, darker side to themselves. So giving yourself that proof that, you need to look at it rationally, because guilt is a very emotional process, and in that flow of emotions, we don't look at things in a rational light. And I think that causes a lot of problem. And at the end of the day, you sort of have to argue your way out of every deep dark thought that just pops up in your head. So I just wanted to share this because again, I would say that I've learned more from my journey than my psychology books or the one-on-one counseling experiences. It's just so I don't know how exactly to sum it up, but I think it's more like to the guilt that you have, you need to ultimately accept that you didn't know better at the time. Whatever you did, no matter what you did, it varies with every story. I think guilt wali cheeze come up in relationship counseling, that I cheated on my partner and now I feel so bad, or there are many things actually. I think even people,
of course.
children, or there is a miscarriage. In such cases, you see a lot of guilt and everything, but you at that moment you didn't. I'm not justifying infidelity, by the way, in case any audience is going to jump at me. So you didn't know any better. You tried your best to live according to. You did your best at the moment. So accepting that and then coming back to the present and really shooting down those thoughts with the logic and facts, I think that is essential to move forward.
Absolutely. The two great points you mentioned, just the takeaways. I'll keep working extractor, okay, throughout the session, just for the audience. First thing you said that, and do you realize this, why it happens? Just now I was talking, the closer you live, the more you're supposed to know, the more you'll get to know. Somebody said that if a human starts living with God, he will come back with 5 shortcomings. You know what? This is what God is. This is how it is. Realize that you live yourself, you live, closest to yourself. So you will know everything that other people may have no idea of. And it may not even matter to other people. So she was saying rationally. That's the first thing. Second, what was really beautiful point is, and I always say, people, you are what you know. You just can't be more than you know. So whatever people do, they do to best of their sensible ability. Whatever they could think of best of the time. Otherwise, think about it. All of our guardians have been saying, study hard, do this, who cares? Nobody cared. Right now we think, oh, I think they were right. Because you just couldn't be more than who you were. It's that simple, period. So I think that is one of the ways that can certainly help you look differently. Oh, okay. So I think I did what I could. Now, so it's like simple. The higher you go, the more you're able to see. And in this case, higher is your experience and maturity and age. If you look around you right now, you will see a few things. But if you go on your roof, you will see your entire city. Same happens in terms of maturity. So I think, thank you very much, Christy. This was wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll take Siddharth and then I'll come back to the other participants. Yes. Yes, please, Siddharth. Yes.
Again, in this topic, share what I say that with my clients, that sometimes we are stuck with this emotions of us, like shame, guilt, and what you say, that shame, guilt, and regrets. These are the heavy negative emotions where we sometimes stuck with these emotions, and we don't feel comfortable to talk with these things even with our familiar friends and love and trusted ones. In this time, I suggest my clients to talk with your notebook. That is the thought diary maintenance. I saw that this works immensely. If you talk with if you write your emotions in a diary, and this will help you to ventilate what we say in like catharsis, what we say that. So if it works, it will help you to accept easily with your emotions, and then it will help you to cope up, that you could say with these emotions with your families or friends. So first, if you cannot talk with your loved ones, then you talk with notebook. That is most trusted ones. You will never share your emotions to anyone. That will never leak your emotion, and that will never cheat you. And this will be an evidence that you have the guilt, you have the shame, and you have the regrets. And in future, you can see that what kind of emotions you have, then you can accordingly change and accept yourselves. This is my suggestion.
True. I think this is wonderful. Certainly. And I think, many times what happens, when you keep thinking something, the thing starts resounding.
Yes.
And you can hear louder than the actual voice is.
Exactly.
And this got exaggerated, magnified so much. It looks so huge.
Yes.
But the truth is that every thought has a real part and psychological part. So the reality is small.
Yes.
Psychologically, it becomes so big that you're like, wow, this is too much to handle. I can't handle this.
Yes.
And then probably these thoughts start coming. Thank you very much, Siddharth. This was really insightful. Thank you. Yes, please. Who was? You might have to raise your hands over and over again. So yeah. And anyone else want to say anything on this? Cool. Oh yeah. Suchita must be thinking. You know what? I always raise my hand. That is why it's no. Please do that.
I'm the last one. Yeah, I just want to add 3 things to it. If you have like shame, guilt, and regret, and you think, what should I do? What people would think about me? How to say what I have done? Because, many people are very emotional and they don't feel like sharing it with some people. So I have 3 things to say for this.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk it out. Whatever you have done, say what you want to say. Second thing is, be honest. Whatever you have done, whatever bad things or whatever consequences you think must be with coming with this, just be honest with what you have done. And the third thing is acceptance.
All
That
right.
yes,
Okay.
I have done this. So these three things I just wanted to
Acceptance
say.
is a major part here. And I'm really happy to know that people know that accepting, I think it has a lot to do with to be more real. The more you are in a reality, I think the easier things happen. Thank you very much. This was a great insight. I will move to a third question, and very important question. But before I put this question before you, I have something to say. I don't have to say it, but I have something to say, so I'll tell this. And this is particularly from one of the scenes I was watching, I think. So what happens, there comes a times, as a counselor, as a consultant, you start saying that. So the consultant was saying that, I'm sorry, I've been lying to you all these years. Yeah, so many things I said, I've been lying to you. Those were not true. I just wanted you to ensure that you don't do all bad stuff. So I've been lying to you, in fact. The counselor said that, oh, but that's perfectly okay. You gave me hope. Your hope kept me going. So it's okay if you were lying to me. You were a hope giver. Consultant was in more of a realization mode. He said, no, I was not a hope giver. I was a hope seller. I sold you hope. And then counselor said something very beautiful. He said, it doesn't matter because hope is worth of any price. So I think that was really beautiful, summing up and coming up, because I think she made the point right. He says, it doesn't matter. You're a professional. You charged me for this, or you did it. Doesn't matter at all. Hope was worth for any price. You only charged your fee. So I think question is here, how real the hope is. How real the hope is. Many people believe, many people don't. Some people are like, this is one of the philosophies. Some people have seen the magic the hope has done to them. What would you say? How would you give a hope to a hopeless person? And how real it is? Feel free to answer. Yes, Shadi? Okay.
Okay, hope is real. It is very real. If we don't have hope, think about it, perhaps we won't wake up next morning. Even though we don't realize that every little thing is a hope. Yeah. Whether it is waking up to make breakfast for your children and your family, whether it is waking up to go for a walk, go to your job to earn money, or go to your job that you love passionately, no matter what. All of these are small rays of hope that make us do things. So hope is very, very real. And unfortunately, the hopelessness that a person feels, that is also very real. Mm-hmm. It is very real for the person who is, I see no hope. You keep telling me, but I see none. So that is also very real to that person. So yes, there are ways to be there for a person that, who is feeling hopeless when we care. So I would just like to make points here.
Please.
More importantly, I think the first and foremost, to be there for a hopeless person is just to listen to them.
Listen to them, okay.
Yes. I feel most of us don't feel really listened to. It's another thing, people, we talk and we feel somebody's listening, somebody's not listening. But actual listening, what a good counselor does, of course. But today, if I have a friend who's hopeless, what will I do? I can always be there for that person to really, truly give a listening and make them create that bond and that rapport. And that person will, that itself becomes a small ray of hope that, okay, this person genuinely cares. That's why she or he listens.
Not true.
So I think giving it real listening there.
Okay.
There are other techniques. There are a lot of mindfulness techniques. And also, I'd like to just a few, very well, Siddhartha said, journaling. Asking them to make a list of people they love. Asking that person to make a list of things they love. At that moment, they might say, I don't love anything. I'm just hopeless. Of
course.
You did love something at some point.
This world is not for me. It's for
yes, exactly. We get it. But you can insist and request and beg them, think there was a time you did love something. It could be chocolate, it could be a Bollywood movie, it could be going for a walk or whatever, or a sunrise or your pet. Just make a list of those things. Making a list of things that will bring a smile to your face. Anything, it can be anything, absolutely. You know what? When you're hopeless, you forget the positive in your life. And it is the negative that just seems to be all over you. And you get into this darkness, and the deeper you go, the worse, the darker it is.
Got you.
So the whole idea is to bring the person out of that darkness by showing them small rays of, it's not that bad. Just remind yourself of the good thing.
Yeah.
Another thing which I really loved, and I had to take it from Jay Shetty's workshop. I don't know, many people know him, I'm sure. He spoke about balance between entertainment and education. And I found that it's such a valid thing for a person to have a balanced kind of a, level of mind. Entertainment, allowing yourself to find recreation. Now it can be anything, hobbies, recreations, anything, and balancing it with some education during the day.
Mm-hmm.
That education could be reading a book, listening to a podcast, doing some meditation, listening to anyone you like. It doesn't have to be a famous person, just someone who you feel speaks well. So a balance between that can really give a lot of motivation to a person.
Certainly.
These are just a few things, I think, just a few pointers. If we are there for someone and try to guide them. And yes, a hopeless person needs to be handheld for some time.
Yeah.
And if not a therapist, a friend definitely.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Many points here. I'll also only take a few. First point that you've made, that was super important. And I think for everyone, all the audience who are listening here, hope is as real as hopelessness, and hopelessness both are real. Now, question is how to know what is real? The answer is simple. Anything that can change you is real. Does hope change people? Yes, it does. Does hopelessness does? Yes, it does. Anything, and literally anything that can change you is real. Anything that cannot change you doesn't change you. It's not real. So if you ever come in a reality check, see, is it changing you? If answer is yes, oh, that's real. So anytime someone says, I have a negative thought, is that changing you? If the answer is yes, oh, it is. Catch it. Start working on it. It's doing nothing to you, cool. So, and when you talk about the listening, I think listening is the beginning of love. Somebody said that. Yeah, so just giving you random thoughts. If there is no listening in love, there can be. Listening is the beginning of love. So if you listen to, that's a great thing. Thank you very much. A lot of points you made. Shadi, Shristi, you wanted to say?
Yes.
Yes.
I
Okay.
think ma'am has made some amazing points. Thank you, ma'am. You took away from a lot of my points. That was amazing, though. What I would like to say on hope, that hope is the only, I think I really believe in art, and art as a, some sort of a thing, coping mechanism in life, and poetry and literature always speaks of hope.
Right.
I think we love poetry, literature, and art because it somehow it comes down to our life, it translates as hope, right? Mm-hmm. So apart from that, I think the two things I would like to add here is hope is very personalized. For someone it can be as simple as living for one achievement in life. For someone it can be family related. Absolutely. So you cannot impose your idea of hope on someone else. That's one mistake I've seen people making a lot, even not professionals, but then in personal life, people try to impose their idea of hope on other people. So you need to really understand what is going to touch the right chords in the other person, so you can give them real hope in that sense, in that situation. And apart from that, I think existential intelligence is like one big theory I'm a big fan of. So having a sense of purpose in life, having some something that you want to do that is beyond yourself. I think books like Ikigai and not just Ikigai, everyone is speaking about existentialism all of a sudden. I've always been for it, because if you tie your life by some sort of a not a goal but a purpose, that is non-materialistic, that's maybe beyond yourself. Maybe it is about the people you care about, or maybe it's about the planet or the society or something bigger than yourself. So no matter what happens, if you have a very strong sense of that vision in your mind, okay, this is what I want to build, and this is what I want to create eventually. So if that image is very strong in your head, I think you are more easily able to sail through whatever challenges come about in life.
Certainly, certainly. Very true. We have one of the programs named Life Rebuilding. And there we talk about the first point that we talk about is, what is life? Life is individual. It is the way you have seen it, the way you have lived it, the way you have found it. If you find this is worst, this is worst. There is no debate, no question. If this is the best, this is the best. It's individual, totally individual. Same is with hope, right? So yes, very, very true. And very true that others' ideas should not, because it's like, you must have heard these things floating on the Facebook. The life has a different question paper. Don't try to steal the answers from others. You'll fail successfully. So yes, thank you very much. Yes, who else wanted to say? Anyone else? Okay, Dr. Archana, please. And please don't hesitate, just raise your hand. It will be a body exercise too. So yes.
Just, I wanted to add one thing, which
Please.
Srishti and Shadi has really said very nice things.
Right.
I just wanted to add one only thing, that hope comes within. It is very difficult to give a hope to others, but I think so it comes within. So we have to touch that point of the hope of other persons, maybe to introduce their own ability or to create a confidence through that. And I think so then the hope will start and the whole process will begin with that. So I think so hope comes every individual. It is very difficult to hope, give a hope, but I think so it
Okay.
within
Right.
it comes within hope. I think so you have to just trigger that point,
I
so
got
their hope will cycle will start it.
Right. Well, somebody said that we all want change, but we hate to be changed. And finding that filmy layer is very, very important for a change maker. So where people want change and they hate to be changed, how do you find that filmy layer? And I think, so finding that soft spot, how do you help someone create? Because this is inside out process, like you're saying. So I think finding that is an art or science. I don't know. But yeah, I think so that's super, super important. Thank you very much. Who else? Anyone else wanna? Oh, yes, Siddharth, please.
Once one of my clients said that, talking about that hopelessness, he says that he was a terminal ill patient, and he said that I have no hope because I will know more in coming days. So I didn't find any hope in my life. I said, okay, fine. So he said that, can you say that what is hope? How can I generate hopefulness within my life, within me? So I asked him, you just go outside and put your hand on any street dog's head. What he will do? He will greet you with his tail. Without knowing that, you will give him a food or something else. That is the hope. He is with this hope that he will, with love with that dog. This is hope. This hope gives us the life energy, even for the next moment we live.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you very much. This was very new perspective. Like I said, I'm a fan of new perspective. Like Shrishti is a fan of existence. What was that? Existence, intelligence you were talking? Existential.
Existential intelligence.
Right. Okay. And if this was your first thing, why didn't you get this copyrighted? I mean, come on, you are too late. People are talking about this now. So anyway, but thank you very much. Thank you, Siddharth. This was really nice. Who else? Anyone else want to talk on this? Cool. We can take it. Amita. All right. We'll take last and then we'll move to next question. Yes.
So everybody has said everything.
I know.
I know. So I just want to say that if somebody is coming to us and he or she is showing some hopelessness, so for me, just to accept and acknowledge that in which situation they are perfectly fine, then it's like acknowledging their situation. They are in the situation where they cannot see beyond, they cannot see their solutions, and they are in hopelessness situation.
Right.
And then after talking with them about their alternatives, I know I can understand this is the situation where you are feeling hopelessness, but let's just see, can there be any alternative for you? Let's just think about it. Maybe something comes up. So like just like inspiring them to work on themselves and see other alternatives for themselves.
Right. Right. Beautiful. I get somewhere somebody says that one of the easiest thing to help someone relive is to help them change their lifestyle. Because when you are tired, sick and tired, sometimes in your life, do you realize because of whatever it is in your life, so it becomes sometimes very, very difficult what is already there in your life to present that as a hope, because people hate it already. So I think options can really work here, and alternatives can really work here. Possibilities can really work here. Changing the way it is. So if you change a direction, I think everything looks new all of a sudden. So I think that can be definitely good. That brings me to a next question, and this is a very important question, I must say that. This is more of labeling people. It's a cliche now in the society. And the cliche is, only a weak person think of suicide. Is that true? Is this labeling true? How would you say? Because people say, I'm strong enough to fight with life and the suicide. But what about the person who always say that? What about the strongest person you have ever known in your life does things and he's not there even to defend his own statement? Is that true? The only weak person or the persons who suicide were weak. What would you say to people who think like this? Anyone? Yes, Dr. Archana? Yes.
I think so. Suicide is taken a very spontaneously action in a weak moment. It's not a weak person will take do suicide, but suicide is a one action which is taken in a weak moment.
Uh-huh.
Every human being has some kind of the weak moment. It comes because of uncertainty of the life, of financial crisis, a mental illness, you are losing some people. So there's a lot of areas where the people get into this kind of the things, like the weak moment, and
Yeah.
that weak moment will take you into the some kind of the emotions, which is like it you clustered into that, you feel claustrophobic and you suffer that psychological pain, and then you wanted to just get relieved out of it. So they feel now to end the life, to get out from that psychological pain, that suffering. So to end this pain, this suffering, is only the suicide. So
Right.
there are so many people, they think in that weak moment and they just opt out for this suicide.
Very good. I think you were very clear in your statement and very beautifully emphasized and give a very distinctive difference between, it's not about the person, it's about the moment or situations that you say that there was a weak situation that you had. Beautiful. That's why I know somebody said that suicide is a permanent solution of a temporary problem. So, because permanent solution, why do you want a permanent solution for temporary problems? Because the problems will anyway go away. This too shall pass. So I think, yeah, that was a very, yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Ultra. Thank you. Who wanna take this? How would you say people when they, I think she has a really brilliant answer, but if anyone else wanna say anything, feel free. Yes.
What I feel that exactly when a person stuck with his emotions, whatever it may be, the reason may be different. Reason may be life-threatening disease. The reason may be economical strain, or maybe any psychological problem or anything else. I think that suicide is a cry for the help.
Yeah.
When we can't say literally we can't share our emotions to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Suicide is the key word that alarms us that you need some help. So it is when anybody is reporting about the suicidal thought, that means the person is crying for help. Help may be anything, any kind of, but she or he is suffering from some emotional stuckness, and he or she is trying to get relieved out of it. So I think that this is it's an help and cry for help. So it's no point of taking that a sign of weakness or a strong mentality. That's all.
Very good. I think, your first line is a punchline. Certainly, this is crying for help. It happens when there is no help available. It's not about someone, and who doesn't need help? So I think that the two great points here, the definitely weak moments and definitely crying for help. I read somewhere somebody said that, do you think suicide is cowardness? Do you really want to know what cowardness? And this was exactly the thing. Cowardness is hurting someone so much or feeling so much hurt that the most beautiful they want to live. They want to live the most beautiful thing in life, and that's life itself. So suicide is not a cowardness. It's and this is what people label people. Says no, it's hurting someone too much or not helping someone at all, or leaving someone hopeless. This is cowardness, not the suicide. So yeah, thank you very much. Who else want to say?
I think I would like to add a point here. I didn't wait for my turn this time. I'm sorry.
Don't.
Yeah. So,
Yes, ma'am.
one thing I would like to mention here, that our understanding of strength and weakness is very distorted. So, if let's just say an individual has a high threshold for negative situations and negative even abuse, or a high threshold for something that's really unfortunate in life, that is seen as strength. And so if in a difficult situation someone cries, that's seen as weakness. So I think that societies and our in our own heads, the kind of image of weakness and strength is there. I think it's flawed. I think the system is flawed in the first place, of strength and weakness. So that is one thing I wanted to say, and we shouldn't be promoting those images of strength and weakness overall, as on our professional and personal journeys. Uske alawa, I think these things should not be associated. That is like my most important point here.
Got you. Thank you very much, Shrishti. This is really good, because I think, the moment you decide what is strength and weakness, people immediately. So I get you. Like it should be relative, depending what you take as a weakness, what you take as a strength. Definitely. Otherwise, sometimes even. Do you realize, or do we realize, the moment you say someone is strong in something, other people immediately start feeling weak? Not even, because that's the worst part of labeling. The moment you say you are the winner, people are like, am I the loser? And this starts. Nobody said that you're the loser. So I think, I got your point. Thank you very much. That was very insightful. So Chitra ma'am, you want to say something? Yeah.
Yes.
Please.
Actually, the common purpose of suicide is to seek a solution. What I think is, it is like finding a solution.
Certainly.
Like people who are, afraid of some disease or some, disability, they fear of those things more than the death.
Oh yeah.
So they think that this is the easy way out to go and commit a suicide. But I think people who commit suicide, it is not their weakness or a character flaw. It is, what they think is, this is the only thing now. If I don't commit suicide, my pain will never end. My pain will never come to an end. So they think suicide is the best way out to, come out of the pain.
Certainly.
Yes, people, I think it is not due to weakness. It is because they are finding some solution for that.
Right.
And three things I would like to add is how to, control it. Just three things, like prevention.
Sure.
Prevention is the umbrella in working to reduce the coming deaths.
Right.
Then second is intervention. Do intervention. Why is it happening? How is it happening? And all that. And the third is postvention. Includes the skills and strategies for taking care of yourself and telling people how, what will happen once you commit a suicide and you are alive and you don't die.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
these three things I would like to add.
That's very true. Very, very insightful. You give a really good point here, and that reminds me something. And I think this is going to be the statement of the show. One of the biggest problem on the, what we are talking right now is, so one of the biggest problem of these suicidal thoughts, when people start finding solutions in, suicide. So when you start seeking solution in suicide, no problem can be bigger than this. That is one problem to hit. Any which way, all these strategies, all the solutions we provide. So somewhere we have to disrupt this idea. The suicide, people start finding suicide as a solution for their problems. And that becomes the biggest problem ever. So yes, thank you very much, Suchita. Anyone else want to say anything? Or we can take up a next question. Then, yeah, I have a next question. And it says that, this is great. I mean, and I don't know if this has, if you have ever experienced or if you've ever known someone who has experienced this, or at least this level of suicidal thought. But I can share certainly with you from my own experience as a counselor. So there was this client once, and do you know what he said? He said something that resonates a lot during my counseling sessions. He says that, Suvin, the first thought that comes in my mind, first thought is suicide, not the second or the last. What to do when the problem is so extreme? No solution. We are talking about right now help and solution and seeking, crying for help. Imagine an extreme level where the first thought they're thinking is to suicide. Generally, we understand suicide is a process. You think this, you don't get it. You think this, you don't get it. You think this, you don't get it. And then you see, oh, I don't have a choice but to suicide, generally. What about somebody has come to a level where the first thought they think of is suicide? How would you help? What would you say people, how they get out of this? Shrishti, you wanted to say? You raised your hand.
Yeah, I think in this situation, it's not just the psychological or the cognitive bit of it. I think then the depression or the helplessness or the neurochemical disbalance has come up. I think, because the biggest psychiatric emergency is suicide attempt, or, whenever someone reports of it, then it is like the number one emergency in psychiatry. Yeah. So I think wahan pe like a team intervention is necessary. And if you find anyone who reaches out and tells you that, to a layperson, this is my message to a layperson, please do not underestimate the level of the crisis. Yeah. Refer them immediately, because there was this person who told me that he came for counseling and he had a lot of guilt. He said that my friend actually had depression. I've been the happy chirpy one all my life. And but he was also like, he was doing so well. He was in, I guess, some big insurance company, having a very fancy job and a good everything. But then, he attempted suicide, and he had been sharing with this person that this is how I feel. And this person did not believe him completely. He was like, "Arey yaar, ye to bolta rehta hai." That was like, this person is depressed and he feels helpless, so he speaks this way, nothing will happen. Right. So never to take that situation lightly, because the psychological and the neurochemical disbalance has become to a level where you need an expert. That is not a case where I think generic normal population should take it lightly or try to intervene there.
Absolutely. Manvi is one of the audience, and she's saying that, of course, and at that time, you don't have a power to think at all. I mean, you just can't think. There is no way. So I think that is where the team intervention is definitely required. Thank you very much. This is good. And audience, I think you can certainly take this that there are moments called last moment. Don't mistake is one of the moments. You never know. Shadi, you wanted to say something? Yes.
Yes, Srishti put it very well. That we cannot definitely cry for help, as Siddharth put it.
Okay.
We cannot ignore a cry for help.
Absolutely.
And as she put it, it's important for them to reach out for help. If nobody is around, just go to a hospital or go somewhere and say, like, I can't take this anymore. So that is one way. But I just want to make one point in lay language, actually. I think we all have one misconception here, all of us, human beings, that we think life is supposed to be easy. Nobody said life is going to be easy.
Absolutely.
I think that's a reminder that we need to keep with ourselves. Sometimes it is miserable, sometimes it's okay, but nobody said life is going to be
Absolutely.
easy. And what we need to keep remembering is we always have a choice.
Absolutely.
I know at that extreme moment we can't remember that, but while we are in the process of life, I think if we always remind ourselves that we always have a choice. And when you are in those thoughts, okay, I like to disclose here. There was a moment in my life, till the time that I felt suicidal, I used to think it's for the weak. And then when I was there, and then when I realized that it's either ending my life, permanent solution to a problem, I won't say temporary problem because it was a bad marriage, but it was a problem, or you take your choice. My choice was walking out with no money, with nothing, with 2 children. So yes, most of the time we take the permanent solution. Why? Because the other choice might be really tough.
Absolutely.
The other choice makes us work hard and it's uncertain. We don't know whether we'll succeed or not.
Right.
So it is a tough choice. I agree. I've been there. I've done that. But if you just hold your thoughts, and that's why they say the rule number 1 for people with tendencies of suicidal thoughts is do not act upon it immediately. Hold, reach out for help, ask someone to come and sit with you and talk, call someone. So why? Because when we act immediately, we end up doing something that we know most of the suicidal attempts, they have regrets at the last second.
Absolutely.
So I would say we should remember that we always have a choice. And on top of it, life has never been told to be easy. It's a misconception that we think some people have it really easy. Nobody has it easy. Everybody has their own share, their own type of problem. And each person's problem is huge for that person.
No doubt about it. I think this is great, Shadi. Thank you so very much.
But it's not easy. Yeah.
This is really beautiful, and I must say that what I'm really loving here from the panelists of you, all of you are trying to be so realistic, and this is what we need. That is the pure concept why Counsel India is prevailing to ensure that can we just real enough, not bookish enough. Can we be more practical? Tell the truth the way truth should be told, as it is. So I think that has a lot of power, I believe. And what she was saying is, nobody said it's easy that this will be worth living, right? So I think that sums up all the point. Thank you, Shadi. Thank you so very much. Yes, please, Suchitra ma'am. Yes.
Yes. Like Shadi and Srishti said, it was very well said. And one thing I would like to say that when one feels that he wants to commit suicide, so first thing we can tell that person that you are not the only one who feels like that. There are many people around in the world who feel, such a way that they are not successful or they are not getting what they want. So the better solution is to commit suicide. So it is like there are many things, you can overcome. There are many things where you can deal with them. And of course, the first step is if you can talk to someone. And here I would like to give my own example. Yes, like Shadi was telling that she also wanted to, commit this act.
Absolutely.
Even I had a very tough time in my marriage life. Even I wanted to commit suicide, but I was thinking of committing, and I did try it. But the second thought came into my mind is, why should I, commit suicide? Because I have my 2 children with me. So I have to take care of them. I have to, make their life, make their career. So I have brought them into this world. So it is my job and my responsibility to take care of them. What if I am not there? So this thought came into my mind, and it changed my mind. And that thought of committing suicide, I just ignored, and it just went off. So I would like to tell people to, think over it. Just don't act immediately when it comes to your mind. So better thing is to think, or to talk to someone you trust on him, or go to a professional, I would like to say.
Absolutely. This world is trying to say here all time that, we all come to, at one point in life, where life seems hard, death seems easy. And I think, this is one of the points where the first thought of suicide comes in mind. So I think this is one of the solutions. Thank you, Suchita ma'am. Who else want to point? What do you want to say? Yes, Dr. Gachna, Amita, Siddharth. I'll take from Siddharth and we'll go to Amita, because Amita always gets first because of an alphabetic, privilege. So, yes, Siddharth, you want to say?
What I want to add in this context, that sometimes it happens that the person who is going to commit suicide is sometimes we cannot get enough time to help him to send to the professional or something like that. So we have to apply our thought and that instantly what we can do with him or her. In this context, I want to share a short screen of the Bengali film Goynar Baksho that was directed by Aparna Sen. In that film, that scene was that a person who is frustrated about his life and he is going to commit his suicide. And at that moment, her wife entered into the room and saw the scene. And he said, what you are going to do when you will commit suicide, think about that. The public, what will think about you, that you like king, the lion like personality commits suicide. How would it be? Won't it be shameful? I have an idea. Do you want to hear? So at that moment, the person said, okay, you have an idea other than suicide. The wife said, yes, I have an idea other than suicide. Please come downstairs. I will share with you. If you don't like the idea, then you can get up and commit suicide. And the person comes down, and that movie goes on. Different conversation will continues, and that wife able to make his husband understood that don't suicide is not the solution of your problem. There are lots of solution of your problem. So that's why I am that's why that is I am telling to I am trying to share you that sometimes it can happen that we don't have any time to send the person to the professional. So we have to apply our own mind how to help at that moment to the people.
Absolutely.
So that we can get at least enough time to send the people to the professional. In this context, I have a personal experience that my counseling guide, she has a midnight call at 1 a.m. in the night, and his client said that, ma'am, I'm very much proud that you helped me so much, but I cannot see the ray of hope in my life, so I'm going to commit suicide, and this is my last call to you. Hearing this, my guide said that my sleep went away. I thought what to do, and she tried to talk with that client over telephone, and she said that, okay, fine, you are going to commit suicide. This is your last call. I can feel your pain. So you can share me with what things you comes to in your mind right this time. What will the gain of your suicide? In this way, she spent the time of 4 hours. After that, in the morning, 5 o'clock, he called to the police and said that my client is going to commit suicide. This is his address and the Jadavpur PS. from a nearby police station. The police went to his house and helped the person. So this is our instant thinking. So we have to think about that how can we help and how can we save a life, because this is a very crucial time and this is really a psychiatric emergency.
I
That's
got you. I think brilliant. The words psychiatric emergency. It's all about buying time. How do you buy time? So that's the first priority. Solving the problem is not the first priority, because I always say this, people, and this is in the corporate world, they can call situation handling, not process handling. See, even if you know what the process is, but just like, how do you handle that situation? And that makes you, that gives you edge as a professional, mental health professional, over the regular, the saving stars that we have. Very, very true that how do you buy time for that moment? Because if you're able to buy time for that moment, it's perfectly okay. Life-saving drugs, like, the doctors have this. So it's not about that. You just need to see. Sometimes I always say, people, bad is always good before worse comes. So, because I literally believe in the fact that only and only if you have time, and if you can buy somewhere, some time, you can literally change things around, and this is the it's the moment. If you can hold that moment, somehow, maybe, you can save a life. Well, thank you very much, Siddharth. Thank you very much. I will come to Dr. Archana and then Amita. Yes.
So in a counseling sessions, we have seen that there are the many people or many patients, they have a developed self-harm, the self-harm or self-destructive attitude towards them. So when, as a professional person, if you indicate their family people or this scale, like, they are self-harming by cutting the blades, like, with the blades they cut, or they put the cigarette wood. So all their thought process, or they sometimes go to the self-sabotage, they just feel, and they feel victimized about it, and very heavily victimized.
Absolutely.
And then as a professional person, we know about it. We definitely try to work on them, that emotional and rational thoughts, make it different and work more onto the rational thoughts so they can be bounced back. But of course, we can, make aware to the family people and the friends and everyone about their self-harm attitude, which leads to them to suicide. Because suicide also has some kind of process. Yes, it is a weak moment in which you just take a spontaneous this, but behind that also there is some process which, if the person is coming, we have to, make aware to the people around them.
Certainly. Very good, very good. I think, the moment, saving the moment, and certainly there's always a process. Nothing happens all of a sudden. I always believe that there is it is possible you don't know. Maybe you're not aware. Maybe it's not enough. Maybe not clear enough. Maybe you're not exposed enough. But there's always something. So I think the idea of just understanding, trying to understand what someone is trying to do, suicide, and why the first thought comes as to suicide, it's really important if we start from the end, rather than starting from the start. So start from the end, finding the root cause analysis, like why it happened, what happened, and it becomes easy. Then you can pinpoint where exactly the trigger is coming from. What is the strongest trigger point? Good, well, that will really help. Thank you very much. Yes, Amita, what's your thought?
So, yes. So all the valid, everybody has said very valid points. I have one. Like for me, if somebody says that only the first thing comes in my mind, that is suicide, nothing else. So I think that it might have connection with his core beliefs or early life scripts somewhere from his childhood experiences, and that can lead him to collect all the evidences regarding that life is worthless, life is not worth living, so I should commit suicide. So we should go, definitely in that situation, go to the professionals and work on his core belief and his life script, that we can change. Definitely we can change this with different techniques.
Certainly. It's very possible. Like, Dr. Archana also was saying that gets collected sometimes. You never know when it is enough. One of the biggest problem is, the problems like this, you never know when it is enough. You never know. And the moment you get to know, you're no longer there. There are people to get to know that this was enough. So yeah, I think that's a very crucial point to mention, that sometimes you think that now you can handle more, you can handle enough. Maybe you can handle more. Sometimes you never know. You never know when it is enough. That is why it's super important when we have a science like this. I think psychiatric emergency is a beautiful thing. Call for help, and buy time, so that when you have enough time, it'll be easy for you to ensure that there is a help, and help helps. Because many a time help is there just to see what happened. So very good. Thank you so very much. Beautiful points. The next question that I have is, and this is definitely related with, and how you handle this, more of a grief or grieving process that you can say is, she says, how to live, the general question. So there were a lot of questions related to this. I summarized every question in this one question. And the question is, how to live when the only person you ever loved has left. He's no longer there. You understand, I think, from the point that sometimes just one person can be your world. You don't need 8 billion people. People say that one flower can be a garden, a person can be a world. So what to do when the only person you ever loved has left the world? He's no longer there. What would you say? How would you start? What would you convince? What examples you will give? What would you say? Living a life lifeless. Yes, to you. Anyone? Yes, Shadi? Yes.
I think getting over grief is one of the most difficult, emotions, and it's one of the hardest works for a counselor, because no matter what, you will never understand what that person is going through. For the same reason, I always hate going for funerals, because you go to a funeral and people say, "Oh, I understand your grief." No, you don't understand my grief. Nobody can understand how the person feels. The level of grief, the level of pain a person feels is extreme for that person. And yes, one of the main reasons suicidal thoughts can be such that, the only person that you have in this world is gone. I think, to be very frank, it's a long process of working to create value in that person's life, to continue without the only one and only one you love is most difficult. You have to create purpose for that person. You will have to create hope for that person. You have to understand where the hope and where that person's hope and purpose, is, and you work on that. But I think there's one takeaway that we always have in our lives when we lose someone that we love a lot. Always you have to ask that person, what do you think that person would have wanted for you? Would that person want to see you
That's good.
in this situation, in this condition, or lost and hopeless and, ready to take your life away? Or would that person love you as much as you love them and wanted you to go on with life, have a purpose, make a difference in this world perhaps, and, see something better in this world? So I think this is one question that can always bring. And, I have asked people who have lost their loved ones, what if it was the other way around? What if you had gone and that person was there? Would you want that person to die?
Oh, I got you.
Do you think he would join you? Do you think he would join you in another world?
Absolutely.
Or would you have wished that person to go on? Would you have wished that person to go on with their life and live a healthy, happy life? Not to forget you, but live a healthy, happy life. So getting out of grief does not mean forget the person you love. It means learn to live with that sadness, but don't allow it to take away your purpose of life.
Got you.
Find some other purpose and maybe dedicate that purpose to the person who went away. But
got you. I think
it's a tough thing.
The great question that you guys raised here is: imagine a situation that if that person could join you back, but if you could have a conversation and see someone, it's like imagine a situation that person is standing the other side of the river, you know, think, I'm sorry, I couldn't join you. Imagine what would that person really wanted if you truly love. Imagine there was an access of communication. Oh, he would definitely not want you to be done
Definitely.
what had happened to him. So I think, this is a great thing that, and the second great thing I really loved here, it's a long process. Many times unknowingly people end up, and this is a difference between personal help and professional help. Many times people mistake personal help with professional help. And I would laugh at you because many times, like me, Bobby, and whenever we speak with people are like, I can give advice. I'm a counselor. This is not advice, mind it, because what is the difference? The personal help does not guarantee a help, where a professional help does, because this is how it's designed. It's a design to help, not the way you think. What your experience of life is, a perspective is. So it's a design to help that way. Truly, I totally agree with you. There is a process of it, and you might want to help someone, because if you already know that you cannot love anyone else, okay, anything that you couldn't change, you have learned how to live and to live along with it. That's also a skill. So I think that's going to definitely help. Thank you, Shadi. Thank you very much. Who else? Shristi, you raised hand. Yes. You wanted to say? Yes.
Ma'am has summed it up very, I think she has a very nice and beautiful way of putting things.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I completely agree with everything she said. I think grief is it's the most intense and painful human emotion. Let's acknowledge that. And then apart from that, and there are stages to grief. There is obviously the theory of grief that says you just don't get over loss. You bargain, you get angry, and then you're in denial, and you have to go through a process to eventually move forward. And again, anyone who's not been through that pain is not going to be able to. Even people who've been through that pain, it's never the exact same, because we're all on our individual journeys, and the dynamics are different between every relationship to relationship. So professional help is definitely better than personal advice. And I know someone who lost her mother to cancer, and she actually was in a relationship at the time. And like that person said कि इतना क्या रो रही हो, 2-3 महीने तो बीत ही गए ना. Which made me, like, I know her, like, I mean, I know her personally, so it made me really angry. And I'm allowed to have emotions in my personal life. I'm a psychologist, like, but yeah, I felt so mad at this person that how can you even dare to say that, like, telling someone in grief that, you know what, be strong, मजबूत बनो यार, अभी कितनी जवान हो, अभी जिंदगी में ये वो, all these generic nonsensical, it can get very, I can understand that, if you are in the close proximity with someone who's grieving and you are not grieving, it might get frustrating after one point, but you need to give that. So when you have a wound, you can't, if you fracture your arm, you can't just start painting and doing Bharatnatyam and, martial arts the next day, right? You need to give it months, and maybe there are even lifelong precautions if you've been hurt in a certain way.
Healing process is what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a very long and complex process, and not I think people need to be really sensitive when they deal with this. Even a counselor, I think in one of my counseling classes, my lecturer actually said that if some client comes to you and says ki, they lost a family member, or they share something as sensitive as sexual abuse or something extremely sensitive, you don't say that I understand. Don't blindly say that I understand. You don't understand. Even as a mental health professional, as we all have a variety of experiences, but not all of us are going to have every experience. So it's okay to acknowledge that what you're going through, you are going through. It is your personal pain. But just whatever advice we say, whatever we open up and talk, even in our personal lives, just being very sensitive. It's very important. And giving the person months and even years if it takes.
Right.
That's very important.
Right. Very true. And this is what I really wanted to convey and say, that This is a difference. This is the difference you want to show as a professional, not like a social cliche. That's okay. What happened happened. These are the social cliche. So you might want to use among your friends, family, when you are just acting like a social creature, but not when a professional, because it's very true. You just don't understand. But the reason I think, Srishti, why people say what they say is because they don't really know how to say this. It requires you need to be emotionally intelligent. You need to have the choice of words to express those feelings, to really say things in a way, like I said, telling the truth that doesn't hurt. So it requires quite some intelligence, and I think this is something that people can learn gradually. Thank you very much. This was really good. Thank you. Who else want to say something on this? Yes, Siddharth. Yes.
As I'm working with palliative patients, especially cancer patients, end of those days are very painful for them and for their family members.
Okay.
After those patients die, it's very it's not only grief, it's more than something grief that family member faces after passing of his own loving ones. So it's very difficult to realize his or her pain, and it is very difficult to fight with this because it's a long process. And along with this, other problems are associated, like economical problems, supporting, guidance, lack of guidance. Everything is associated with the death of a family member, especially when it is an only earning member in the family or it is the head of the family. So it seems to be very difficult to deal with. I then suggest, and I feel it sometimes it works when you get unconditional love. If you see about you, if you try to mix it, we try to mix with the animals, because they will give you unconditional love, because they don't really know what the next time, because they
Yeah.
don't have kind of intelligence that you are, so they will give you the unconditional love. And I my personal experience is that really works. If you have the I mean that if you have pleasure with playing with any dog, any bird, or any pet one, this will help to heal up very quickly. So that is my point
Okay.
of.
Great. Amazing. You gave a very new idea here, so a very good insight for us as a human to understand that. Understanding, very true, knowing, sometimes knowing less is also a boon. We don't know everything and anything. Like, one of the biggest reasons why we avoid good moments in life, because we think there will be better moments. The reason why we avoid better moments, because we think there will be best moments. But I think with animals and pets, they know this is life, this is the moment. That's all. So, well, that's worth noticing. I literally see every day, but never thought about this. Thank you, Siddharth. This is really good. So, Suchita ma'am, you wanna finish? I'll take next question, and then we'll really soon start our the one to. I'll take this question maybe as a last or maybe second last. Yes, please.
Yeah. So what everybody said, yes, grief, nobody will understand
Yeah.
when a person is in grief, because it is his own feeling. So you cannot go inside a person's feelings or inside a person's body or heart and just tell that person ki, okay, yaar, it's okay, fine. Now come out of it. Because the person himself is knowing what pain he is going through. But
Right.
at least, when the person is okay, after some time, when the time passes, when the person whom he's loved and the person has gone away, has left the world, after some time, you can make that person understand that, yes, I can understand, but after all, you have to survive, because you see, everybody here in the world is surviving. And so life is going on, and you also have to go on with the life. And you just have to tell that person, just look around yourself and see other people who are loving you. Just look at them, because There are people, there are your family members who still love you. So don't just think that now that person is gone, that now I am not able to survive anymore. So it's not like that the world is it's gone to an end, and the world is stopped and nothing can be done now. I cannot survive. So these are the things you can make the person understand, that you can focus on yourself, you can give time to your family, your friends. You can be a little bit focused on the work which you are doing. Try to divert yourself, divert your activities or whatever in your life, and just don't give up on love, because we understand that the person whom you loved has gone away, but still there are people who love you, and you can also love them, and that love can still go on. So this is I want
Absolutely,
to say.
absolutely, absolutely. Before I move with the last question that I have, I think Rupal has been trying to pose a question, asking that how to get someone out of a difficult or complex situation that they really feel stuck, like So it's a solution of forced therapy that he's trying to put here. So, but what are you gonna do if someone is really feeling stuck to something? Can there be a forced therapy kind of that you can get someone out of it? What would be your best ideas? If someone is totally, and this was one of the questions, well, stop to the 8th question. This is going to be my last question that I'm going to ask. And this is a part of the question that I had is people who feel totally addicted to something, for example, totally stuck. They don't know if they're ever going to get out of it. What would you say? Anyone can just, loosely answer. Yeah. Do you think that you can do what you may want to do? Yeah, Shari, you want to say yeah?
Okay, so feeling stuck is another emotion which normally comes by from lack of understanding that there are choices. So for us to make a person understand that there's no concept of being stuck in anything, because there's no one way of anything in life. There is always two sides to a coin, as they say. So there are always choices. I'm sitting here out of my choice. I can get up and go, that would be a choice. I can bring a cup of tea, it's my choice. I don't do it, it's my choice. So everything is a choice. Okay. So the concept of being stuck is because you're not able to see the other side of the coin. If you just try and observe and you look at your situation in a whole different perspective, so that technical language would be that a person can help this person either through hypnotherapy or through NLP, or there are mindfulness tools that the person starts looking at the situation from a different perspective. There are dissociative tools that you look at the situation from outside of yourself and you just look at it in a different point. So that would be a technical way of looking at it.
Got you.
When you talk about addiction, addiction is another thing completely. If you're addicted to something or some issue or even someone sometimes, and it's harmful for you. So if you've reached a stage where you realize this addiction to a thing or a person is harmful for me, you're almost there. Because at least you have understood this situation is harmful for me. Okay, I don't know how to get rid of it, but it is harmful. That much I have understood. So I guess that is when you have got to have step 1, 2, 3. You need to reach out to people. If you need to reach out to people who trust you, you need to who you trust, people who love you. You need to reach out to therapists or someone who will work with your limiting beliefs. We do have a lot of limiting beliefs and beliefs which are not at all constructive for us. So if you get into those beliefs, then you realize where this being stuck is happening. Why are you stuck on one thing? Because a lot of times, if you go back, these have something to do with the core beliefs that you have, and always the limiting ones, obviously. Then you also have to work with your self-worth. So if you have value for the magical life that you are, then you definitely will not self-sabotage. Okay. You will not do, if you have self-worth, your life is valuable, you are not going to do anything for harm yourself, and you won't do anything that is going to make you feel stuck. So that's an uncomfortable feeling.
Right. So some guys, you're saying looking beyond what is there. It's so important. Absolutely. Because when you say you're stuck with something, and it's always said that there's a quote I get somewhere that says that the only way to see something else is take your eyes off from what you're seeing right now. There's no other way to see something else. If you don't take your eyes out, what you're looking at right now, there's no way you can see anything else. So I think, this was it. My last question from this is going to be the 8th question. I want to make it last, and then I'll quickly do this rapid fire, and then we'll wish goodbye. If our audience want to speak something, we'll last moment. We'll also allow them. They literally want to speak something, they can also speak. So yeah, audience, whatever brilliant points that you have that you want to summarize, one liner, two liners, you just want to say, you wanted to say something, we'll open the mic for all of you, and you can certainly put that in the last. Brilliant, brilliant. Last question is, how can we talk about suicidal thought and not talk about infidelity? I mean, this has to be there. Because, so the question is, what to do? When the person you love the most has been faithless to you, the person who had all your faith in someone has been faithless to you. People find no solution coming out of it sometimes because you understand how complex love itself is. On top of that, sometimes love is the only goal people have in their entire life, right? I think most of people have. So, but the only person who had all your faith in has been faithless to you, and mind it, the introducing other person does not work in most of the cases, because love is one of those things people just can't get out of it. It's so sticky, so sticky. It just cannot be duplicated. And the relish, feelings of that love. So it's not about having alternative. It's so individual. I think love is more individual than life. Life may have similarities. Love is very peculiar, very, very peculiar at all. What would you say when the suicidal thought starts coming because of the reason? Because faithlessness, infidelity. How would you like to help? What would you say? You can start answering. Anyone you feel like. If you have infidelity, how would you help someone? Yes, Shadi.
I'm sorry, I waited for someone else to reply.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Should I? Oh,
yeah, I don't want to be the only one.
Good, good.
Okay, this topic, been there, felt that, and I know how it is. So it is again a process. Believe me, it starts with. It doesn't directly go to suicidal thoughts.
Right.
It goes to resentment. It goes to hatred. It goes to anger at some stage. But if you don't allow it to go to anger, what happens is it goes into self-pity, self-depreciation, and suicidal thoughts. If I start looking at it that he was unfaithful to me because I am not good enough, then I'm heading for suicidal thoughts. Whereas if I understand that he just didn't turn out to be the guy that I thought he was, if I put him on some platform and he could not be worthy of that place, it is on him. It is not on me. It's not easy. You need help to go through this. I did it alone. I came out of it alone. But I know that it's not easy.
Yeah.
So the only way to look at it is realizing that your life is more valuable than anybody else. And you can't just let go of your life because somebody was not doing what they should be doing.
Oh, okay.
Somebody did not have the values that they should have in life. So it goes back to your self-love and self-worth.
Just one follow-up question here. Generally, I have a habit of asking a lot of follow-up questions. The reason I did not ask in this talk show, because you guys were giving a lot of valuable information. So I was like, okay, no follow-up questions here. So when you were saying that, and this is a very good point when you mentioned that, why do you want to take away your life? Why do you want to give your life away because of one person who is not doing what they were supposed to be doing? Question is that one person was every person in life. I mean, more than him, because sometimes when you're entangled entirely, you don't even know if you exist without that person. You don't know.
Yeah, as I said, been there, I know how it feels. But then the idea is to keep reminding yourself, and the mere fact that that person was definitely not the person I created.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Had he, you create this persona
Yeah.
for the person you
Gotcha.
love, you know,
Yeah.
and sometimes it is right, it is the truth, and sometimes it is what I created. And clearly, when he's done something so harmful to me, and he's not honored this institution 100%, or this commitment, so 100% he wasn't the person I.
Got you. Got you. So you're saying it is not the same person who you loved. It's a different person altogether. So it becomes a
Or
little.
maybe it is of a different person altogether, or you would say that I didn't see the right person.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, good. Yes, Dr. Rachana, you had.
I would like to say two things in this. First, we have adopt this thought that we can only love one person throughout the life.
Okay.
So, when you feel that this person is unfaithful, that creates void in you.
It does.
And that mostly people, because of the unfaithfulness emotion, rather than that, they are more upset with their voidness. That what I can do now, I'm alone. The isolation, the loneliness, that has putting him or her into those kind of negative zone, and those emotions and thought process will lead you to the suicidal thoughts. I'm worthless, that's why this person has done, and then you become a victimized person, and those victimized feeling will lead you slowly into the suicidal thoughts. So basically I feel that as a human being we are very emotional, and we condition our mind that way. This is a person and he or she has to be faithful to me, and they create one kind of boundary. This is called a faithfulness, this is called infidelity, this is called a trust. And when the person create their own space, or they break that boundaries, they give the name of infidelity, unfaithfulness, and then they get into that own zone. Oh, why this person has done that? So the whole process go into that. I'll just mention one small story, and which is true here.
Please.
So there is one boy and girl, and they were like very much in love with each other, and they wanted to marry, but because of the intercaste, the all the family people says no. So this wanted to prove themselves that we are really in love with each other. They went into they thought that we'll do suicide like together. So, they reach to the top of the mountain, and they says, now we'll end our life because we love each other. So the girl says, I'm scared. First you go, you jump, and then I will follow you, because looking at you, I'll get a confidence. So boy said, okay, fine. He jumped from the top of the hill. And then the girl is thinking, now the boy is gone. The matter is end. Why I should do the suicide?
Well,
This is a true story, and this person has come back to me, and this is okay. Is it the right thing I have done or wrong thing I have done? I said, you make it a choice. There's nothing right and wrong. So you understand there's a very complex about the faithfulness and unfaithfulness, and the whole relationship is like that. But we are human being, which is a social animal, would love to see everything with the emotional angle. But I think so now the youth are coming. They are really taking care of their emotions, and they are not expecting anything. I'm talking about the youth, which I'm working on that.
Certainly.
So they are taking a much better lesson from our past and history.
Got you. Well, very, very. I think everything was beautiful. One thing that I just definitely want to add here, when it comes to being more real, because we are saying that these days people are being more daring, more real, telling things the way it should be told and everything else. And I think that's true. There was this sportsman, I forgot his name. So, like people in India ask Salman Khan, why don't you marry? Why don't you marry? And he's sick and tired of this question. So the same thing was the other press reporter were literally getting their mic into, his mouth and asking, so why don't you get married? Why don't you get settled? Why don't you get married? And he said something really, he said that the reason I can't or I don't marry because I can't afford to be faithful. That's why. Well, in a relationship, what happens is, and I think this is one of the cliches that people should get out of it. We want to know everything, and literally. all the truth, all the reality. The question is, okay, perfectly okay. You want to know all the truth? Know it, but can you handle it? Will you again remain the same after knowing the truth? Or will you change? So, forcing someone to tell the truth and not being able to handle is not a nice idea. So, in the first place, when you know you can't handle the truth, it's a good idea I don't know the truth. Because truth is relative. Like, Dr. Archana was very well trying to explain, it's all relative. The definition that we have created, the thought that we have, one person creating entire world. The reason one person should not be entire world, because there is already entire world. And there will be duplicacy then. So I think very well put. People should start thinking about this. Thank you, Dr. Archana.
Yes. I think I'd like to add something here.
Yes, Srishti, yes.
Yeah. So again, I spoke out of turn. I'm really sorry for that.
I'll take Siddharth after you. Yes, please.
Okay. So I think the most important thing to understand about humans is everyone has a void. Everyone, each one, the moments when you're sitting alone in your bedroom, the moments, you're having a Sunday, you have nothing to do and you're like, hey, what am I doing? Or, everyone has some sort of emptiness and crisis inside,
Right.
Because the dynamic is changing. In earlier times, everyone used to be very interconnected and no one had the time to think and go down that spiral. But every individual has a void. And if we see addiction cases, if we see like these relationship issues, we see anything, it all boils down to, I have a void, I tried to fill it with something, and I messed it up.
Okay.
Not that infidelity is, the person's responsibility, of course not, that's not justified. But, that void that we have, which every human should acknowledge, I think. Everyone should acknowledge, I do feel empty sometimes. How do I want to fill it? How do I want to decorate my void, that I don't try to look for another person to make me happy, or I don't try to, I don't depend on any substance to make me happy and feel content or numb my emotions. So we always try to numb our, emptiness feeling with something external. It can be a partner, it can be a substance. So an addiction, it's all an addiction at the end of the day.
Absolutely. True.
So when you acknowledge your void and you try to fill it with the right things, which are personalized to you, I think then you can avoid these situations to a great extent.
Certainly, certainly. This is a very good point. This is very unfortunate, or whatever you may want to call it. I don't want to really give it a name. It's like, we don't look for a person, we look for a package, right? Nobody's looking for a good person, a bad person, a nice person, a handsome person, something like. We look for a package, and person cannot be a package. The only way a person can be a package is mingling a lot of person or putting everyone together. And I think that creates a void, Srishti, what you're saying. Because when you look for a package, there's a lot of void. Someone is this, but not this. Oh yeah, that thing is there in the world, but not with him, somewhere else. You want to go? And then you're right, when you try to fill that void with the package that you were looking for, the element, you end up missing it. So yeah, that definitely happens. I think the world, and we all need to be more mature, we need to grow. I don't know how more mature, but I think we have to start recognizing these emotions as a reality, that we can name this infidelity, but this is one of the obvious and true emotions. Everyone gets lonely. Like people say that no one is alone, but everyone is lonely, at least sometime. So, and that sometime creates something that you will have to live with all the time. So yeah, very true. Anyone else want to say? Yes, Siddharth, yes, please.
Yes, what I want to add it with this, what Dr. Archana said, that is very true. And I want to refer the answer of first question of this session, that we have to accept that within us, we have positive and negative things together. So if we have only one person for love, so that is our fault of understanding that we consider the person that he will fit all of my ideas, and that my what I want to do, what my thing is.
Match, people, there's a
yes,
name.
So if we love someone, then we have to love him or her with his positivity and negativity. Until and unless we only check his positive things or her positive things, when it goes off, then our love will win. In vain. See, for example, if we love a girl by seeing his face, or I mean that whatever, he's very pretty to
Yeah,
you,
maybe she's very beautiful. Yeah.
very beautiful. So after a certain period of time, when the days goes on, his hair will be white
Yes.
and his
Follow and check. Yes.
wrinkles. So my then my love will go off. So that cannot be possible. When I have love with someone, I have to accept the positive things and the negative things together with the person, because nobody is perfect.
Okay.
Everyone has its own negativity and positivity, and we have to accept both of those things. That's all.
Okay, very good. Very. I'll take Anita, and then I'll finish with Shadi, and then Suchita ma'am too. I'll come. So this is a triangle. So yes, totally agree. Totally agree what you're saying. And this is one of the things when Shadi.com says, "Find your perfect match." Excuse me. How can two different individuals when we a perfect match? And question is, and you might want to ask yourself, and anyone who ever asks you and put this phrase, ask that person, do you believe people are imperfect? Yes. How can two imperfect people can be perfect? Anyway, you might want to keep asking and talking about this. But anyway, take it. I'll take Amita's, please.
Yeah. So I was not able to really think what to say. Then I realized that
Okay.
one concept which I can share right now is like for unconditional life acceptance. So life can throw anything with to us. Means life is not like we can see that this is what I want in life. Anything can come, and we have to be prepared to deal with every situation.
Certainly.
And like this, we will have to unconditionally accept others also. So whatever your partner is doing, accepting that thing and letting it go is also very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very good. Thank you very much. Yes. Who was there? Yeah, Shadi. Yes. Yes.
Okay, with all due respect to everybody's opinion, since this is the top question that is a little close to my heart, I think we bit digressed from the point of your partner having been unfaithful to you. Accepting a person as a positive and negative is a must. The mere fact that no two people can be perfect match, 100%. But when you enter in some kind of a commitment, there are some basic boundaries that you create.
Right.
And those boundaries, it's another thing if today's world you have an open relationship.
Yes,
It's an
exactly.
understood thing. Yes.
Exactly, yeah.
If I have an understanding with my partner that you do whatever you want, I do whatever I want, still I accept you.
Sure.
That's fine. I have no right to complain then.
Absolutely.
But if there are some boundaries that we have, individual boundaries mentioned here, and if that is very clear, and if somebody crosses that, that is when the hurt comes. That is when the resentment comes. That is when you feel you have been let down. Why? Because you have not been honored. It is a matter of having been honored as a part of this package. I get that the person can folly. Acceptance, it's up to you. I mean, I couldn't accept. Some people accept.
Absolutely.
But some people don't accept. Again, it depends on how seriously you take, how you take your, this whole issue of infidelity as an, direct attack to your, honor or your boundaries. It depends how you take it. But I think infidelity is not the same as taking positive and negative together. It is technically neither a positive nor a negative with a person. But as I said, if it was already said that, look, I'm going to be unfaithful to you,
Right.
you take it, then okay. It's understood from before.
Yes.
But when it comes as a shock, when it's breach of the contract of commitment or a marriage, then it's a problem.
I get it. I get it. So what you're saying, if this is already understanding, even not a contract, the understanding that it's perfectly okay to digress and to go and to do things what you wanted to do. It's like when you cross the boundary, you set the boundary and you cross the boundary. The question is, why did you set the boundary in the first place when you had to cross it? And this is where everything else comes. Okay, I got you. Thank you very much.
Would like to add one small thing here.
Yes.
I completely agree, and I think when an individual is choosing a life partner or a long-term person for a serious relationship, I think it's very important to evaluate whether you have the same belief systems, to give it enough time to see whether they are, they're going to keep up with their words. And also, I know couples who are not monogamous. they have multiple relationships outside the marriage, but they are best friends and they're so happy with each other, way more than an arranged marriage couple, let's just say.
Not sure.
So there is absolutely zero judgment. If that is how they want to lead their lives, it's okay. But then if you know about yourself that you cannot be in a monogamous relationship, don't find a, a don't find a partner who is looking for monogamy. Try to find the partner who's looking for the same things as you. And the
Absolutely.
world is huge. So that mismatch happens very frequently, and people need to be really self-aware and be honest to themselves and that person, that whether they can live up to their commitments or not. Don't make the commitment in the first place and find someone with the same ideology, I guess.
Certainly. Shristi, just one follow-up thing here. You're right when you say the pre-evaluation.
Yeah.
But this is the problem, you can't pre-evaluate. You only get to know when you start living and what to do. Let's say evaluated, found someone perfect. Let's get married. And then things happen. Well, I think you're right, but what would you suggest? What else people can do? I mean, can they do literally? Can they scan someone's how they're
I
gonna
think
act? And, yeah.
one of the biggest mistakes people make when a marriage is the decision is they choose a partner in the honeymoon phase, in the initial 6 months or 1 year, or basing it on less time. I mean, obviously there are people who've been with their partner for a very long time and yet these unfortunate things happen.
Absolutely.
But waiting for first of all, I think it also depends on where you are on your healing journey as an individual before you embark on something like a marriage. So if you feel that everyone's parents mess them up in some way or the other, I have seen that even in the most perfect people, that each parent has scarred their child to some extent, right? So you have your own baggages and traumas, and before you enter the marriage, you need to clear that out, because it's no longer you. There's one more person on the journey with you, so that you don't hurt that person. You need to clear out your own baggage. So first, you need to introspect whether am I even going into a commitment or a serious marriage with the right headspace or not. I think it's very
Okay.
important. These are questions people need to ask themselves and ask their partners. And pre-evaluation, I'm all for it. I think everyone should really be careful in choosing a final
Of course.
life
No
partner.
doubt. No
Yeah.
doubt. No doubt. Pre-evaluation. Yeah.
Practically evaluating, not emotionally. That's the mistake I think people
Okay.
make.
Okay. Practically, yeah. I remember your term. Practically, not emotionally. Just, you guys are, seeing this intellectual mind. You guys are fueling my idea of debating. So we are about to launch a month after the debate on things, and I think we would have most sensible possible debate that you will see. I've been a debate champion many a times. I've been a debater on behalf of New Delhi. So I think you guys are fueling my idea, because in debate, a lot of great points come that otherwise it doesn't. So I think we'll be doing it. So thank you very much for igniting all this. Suchita ma'am, I'll take your last point and then I'll be done. I will have moved to the next phase, yes.
Whatever everybody said, it was perfectly all right.
Okay.
But I think here, when it comes like a person is faithless and what to do now, but I think it comes when we are expecting too much out of a person.
Okay.
So expectations are more, and then infidelity is there. Then we come to know that okay, this person is faithless. But nowadays, what I see in younger generation, the younger generation boys and girls are becoming more practical.
Uh-huh.
So when they see that okay, the match is not perfect, when we are not able to come along with us together, we cannot come along together.
Right.
Life is becoming a mess, so it is better to part away. So
Absolutely.
earlier it was not so. Earlier it was like, I can say for my example, my own example, yes, it was like there was a time where it was totally like we had to part away from each other. But same thing, looking at my children, looking at the family, and many a times it happens, and it happened. Yes, why should we part away, and why should we get divorced? What will the society say? What will our parents think? And this whatever. But nowadays, people don't care so much. A person is faithful or faithless, it doesn't mind to them, because they have become so very practical in life. So what if the person is not faithful? Okay, You go on your way, I am going on my way. So this
Absolutely.
is how the life is going on.
Absolutely. Very good. Thank you
So
so very much. Yes, this is totally insightful. Yeah. Anyone else? Siddharth, you wanted to say something? Yes.
I just want to add a little bit point with this,
Please.
because today the scenario, the boys or girls are so much matured, so that we can say that I am sharing my experience that one girl said that yes, what I can do that my partner is not faithful to me. So I said that you can have a positive things within it. So she said, what is the positivity within the unfaithfulness? So I
Well blend.
it is your freedom to be flirt with another person. She said, oh yeah, that doesn't click to my mind. So this can happen nowadays.
Yeah.
I'm not supporting the unfulfilledness.
Of course. Yeah, I get it.
But the thing that we can think it in a different way,
Certainly.
because we can say it that suicide is not the solution.
Absolutely. True. True.
In which context we are talking about this. That's all.
Absolutely. Very beautiful. So yeah, you're like, do anything, don't suicide. There are ways, you will find a way out, and you never know, sooner or later. So I think, this is definitely brilliant. Before I move to next, and I'm finishing this, there's a quick rapid fire. There's nothing, just one question, true or false. All you have to say is a true and false, no answer. Generally, people believe in suicidal prevention. When you learn, people say that people always prepare for suicide. Do you believe the suicide can be accidental too? No other reason. Immediately. Start from Suchitra, ma'am. Suicidal can be accidental, yes or no? True or false?
it can be accidental.
Okay. Shadi?
Yeah.
Can this be accidental? Okay. Amita? Can suicidal be accidental? No past history, nothing.
No.
One day, one moment, something happened. Done. No. Srishti will say yes. Okay. I'm just saying.
I've seen it work both ways.
Okay. No, one thing. True.
No, I think people can contemplate it.
Okay. Take it. Archana, what do you say?
No, false.
False. Siddharth?
No, false.
Okay.
It
Very
will
good.
happen.
Very good. A lot of people ask this, and I know and say with so many things, they just wanted to ask you, can this be or cannot this be? So I think you, as a panelist, you give the answer, and the answer says no. So audience, if you're listening, I think the answer is no. No. A lot of people from audience too supporting the fact. Very good. Thank you so very much for all. So detailed it is. So many points you have put. Many points, and I think I did a good job at an extractor, because you gave us so many points that I don't know how to put this to audience. Many times I was thinking to at least simplify this and put it to audience in a word or in a way that they can understand even better. Now this is going to be a fun round, so take your minds off, sit relaxed. Okay, we're just going to ask back-to-back rapid-fire questions, and this is going to be rapid-fire, no explanation of nothing. Okay, and after this, we will just let you know how exciting we are also planning. So what we have seen, and let me just pitch it right here, right now, since we have a lot of people here. So we have seen a lot of mental health professionals. They have so much of ability. They have so much of knowledge, so much in-depth knowledge. One thing that I really have seen and experienced in my journey of as a professional is they do not have presentation skills. Expressing how it is. They want to say, they know a lot, but they wish they could articulate that fact as it is. They can impact. If you ask them to go and speak before 1,000 people, they're not sure. A lot of ICI people have proved this. We have been asking them, otherwise we contacted many people. They're like, you know what, this is a good idea. I don't know if I can do that. So I think what I believe is it's important to show what you know. Because if you don't show what you know, people never know what you know. So this is super, super critical. Why? There is another reason why we must show what we know, because people are not God. They can't look inside. You'll only get to see. So we are really coming up with one of the sessions or programs, especially for mental health professionals, how can be super articulated, super intelligent, presenting their ideas so they can steal the show. Not necessarily, you don't have to talk much to say much. You can talk a little and you can say so much. And I will end this pitch with last example of one. So I was getting a training from Steve Hudson. He used to train the spokesman of BBC World Services. And I would always ask him, what is effective communication, sir? And there were a lot of people from different countries, like, again, from India? Yes, sir, this is me, Saveen. Okay. And he would always ignore my answer. Why this guy ignored my answer? And then gradually, give a really good answer. He says, Saveen, when you speak with someone for 1 minute and you remember that person for a lifetime and vice versa is effective communication. Must have happened to all of you. You come across someone, sometime you just have a moments of conversation. Oh, you can't get that person out of your mind, neither that time. He says that effective communication. I was like, that's all? He said, that's it. If you want to know, Google it. But this is it. So I think, and he was very true. It's not about how do you really want to evaluate how good of a talker you are, is how long they keep your talk in the mind. The impact. So we are coming out with the program Speak to Impact for mental health professionals because of our research and all. A lot of people we came across, they're like excellent people, so much to say, but they can't really impact. This is a perfect example of engineering student and MBA. So engineering students are really nice and I love them because most of my friends are, I'm the only one I think that is outside. MBA people say people in engineering, they really know how to create, but they don't know how to present. People in MBA, they don't know how to create nothing, but they really know how to present. An idea, they will steal the idea, they will make me that this is my marker, you're done. We need a combination. So much of hard work mental health professional put, and they can't articulate things. Not in a way, especially for a simple audience. So coming with the program Speak to Impact, we'll really do a survey and try to find out who can join. Let me start with really quick. This was a great session. Thank you so very much for taking care of this stage. The analyst is coming with the rapid fire, and this is going to be brilliant. And now I will be choosing who will speak. So your time of volunteering is done. This is my time. One-man show. Shadi is like, okay, by the way, do you know what the name Shadi means? How many of you know? Except Shadi. This Shadi, do you believe this is about marriage? Oh, Archana says no. Okay, she knows that. So yeah, Shadi, you wanna say what does your name mean? Because most of people don't.
Yeah. Well, I'm Persian, so Shadi in Persian means happiness.
Ah, this is not marriage.
So,
okay.
So it's not marriage because I don't think many marriages are happy.
Okay.
It means happiness.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Okay, so I want to start it from Shadi herself. Okay, and this is going to be a rapid fire question. So let's get started. Let's say what we have, and everyone get started. Try to answer try to be as spontaneous as you can be, and see how you can do. So, quick question: if you are not a mental health professional right now, what would you be doing?
Doctor.
Doctor is a mental health professional again. But anyway, doctor. Okay, Tika.
Doctor, medical doctor, MBBS.
Oh, MBBS. Okay, all right. Why counseling industry is dominated by females?
Because females think they can understand others more.
Okay.
They think.
We are backing off. Okay. That's all right. Okay. Siddharth, this is a threat to you. Anyway.
I didn't say it in a bad way. I said
I know.
think.
I'm just mentioning. What is the biggest lesson you have learned in your life?
That sense of responsibility will bring empowerment to me. Okay. So I'm responsible for everything in my life.
Okay, beautiful. Who do you love the most and who loves you the most in your loved ones?
I would want it to be my husband. I think my daughter
Okay. Okay.
She's on top of it.
Okay.
And I think she loves me.
Okay, cool. We'll verify with that. But anyway, what's the biggest risk you think there can be marrying a psychologist?
What is the least risk?
Risk. What is the biggest risk you think?
Biggest risk?
Yes, marrying a psychologist.
People think, because they think psychologists are going to get into their heads. Everybody thinks, oh, now you know what I think.
Okay.
It doesn't work like that. So
Okay.
it's not the biggest risk. No, the biggest risk would be that the psychologist will justify everything that he does or you do or whatever. Constantly in justification of actions.
Okay. All right. Good. That was all. That was all we really wanted to say. Now we'll jump to Amita. So if you were not a mental health professional, what would you be doing now?
I think I would have been businesswoman, because I belong to business family.
I see.
A lot of my brothers, my father, my husband, they all are business.
Okay. Cool. Why counseling industry is dominated by females?
Because females are more compassionate, they understand more.
Okay.
That's why I think so. I don't know.
All right, no, hands all yours. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Okay. What is the biggest lesson you have learned in your lives?
Biggest lesson I have learned is accepting myself fully and accepting others around me, and especially my daughter. So I was actually struggling with this. I was not able to accept her fully, but now recently when I have studied, I have done courses and all. So first thing I have learned is to unconditionally acceptance of her.
Okay. All right. Very good. Who do you love the most and who loves you the most in your family? It can differ. Always remember this.
Yeah, it can be for all my family members. They all love me and I love them all.
Okay. Well, this is very generic answer. Okay.
Yeah.
That's perfectly okay. No problem at all. What is the biggest risk you think there can be marrying a psychologist?
So, like my husband once said to me, now don't give me psychology jargon to me now. So I think they feel now you will tell me something about your concepts and something about your techniques. So please.
Please don't. Okay.
Yeah.
So jargon's bombardment can be. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much. Where's Christy?
Okay, thank you.
This is to you now. Thank you, Amita. This was beautiful. Okay, if you are not a mental health professional, what you would be doing if you were not a mental health professional?
I think entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur?
Especially, I think a social entrepreneur for sure.
Oh, sure.
And maybe it will be coming up in some time.
Okay, all right, no problem. Why counseling industry do you think is dominated by females?
I think women are nurtured in a way to be more empathetic, and men. I think many people associate counseling with a more emotional natured job, and many men are not very comfortable with their emotions. Not all men, but many men.
I know I was not one of them. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Who do you love the most and who you think loves you the most in your family?
I love my mother the most and she loves me back the most.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
I see. Generally, I've heard in psychology what generally happens when you are happy, you think of someone who you love. When you're sad, you think of someone who loves you. And this is true. So anyway, what is the biggest risk you think there can be marrying a psychologist?
I think you can't get away with lies. I think psychologists have a very strong intuition. They have seen a lot of variety. They know who is what way, and they will analyze and understand and get to the truth.
Absolutely. I get it. Yeah. So you can't think of any other person in your life if you're marrying a psychologist. Forget about it. This can be the biggest risk. Okay. Thank you so very much. Krishi. This was amazing. Dr. Archana, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So if you were not a mental health professional, what would you be doing now?
NGO. I must be running my NGO. I love to do a social work.
Perfect. Why do you think counseling industry is dominated by females?
Because I feel that two things. One, the female knows how to get into someone's pants so easily. And second thing, the male and female is a differentiate only with the emotionality. The women has an emotional complex mind, so they can understand the complexity of the emotion other people's in their life. So I think so they can give a better solution of it. So that is what I feel.
They are so well wired emotionally that they can understand the complexity. Okay, beautiful. All right. What is the biggest lesson you have learned in your life?
Just live your life. Be in allowance. The life will be treating you a beautiful way. As you treat your life, the life will also treat you. The
Or-
life is beautiful.
Okay, beautiful. Who do you love the most and who you think loves you the most in your family?
My daughter, and she loves me the most.
Hope she's listening. She will listen. We'll share you the link. All right.
Sure, Dipli.
Very good. Thank you very much. What is the biggest risk you think there can be marrying a psychologist?
The people feel that you are controlling the life by getting into the life. So they have that risk with a psychologist or counselor because they are giving access to the people, the counselors to
Right.
get into the life, but they have a scare. If they will not exit, then this person will be there controlling my life and my psychology.
Absolutely. I think from now onwards, any psychology remain unmarried will blame come to me. You are the one who provoking people and asking them that there can be a risk. Why do you think in the first place there can be a risk? Well, that's the question. Because, all right, thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I think, Shrishti, I missed you one question with you. So, what was your
I
biggest?
was wondering.
Yes.
कि क्यों हुआ मेरे साथ?
What was the biggest lesson in your life, Shrishti? I know you have so many. What is one?
Yeah, it's very hard to come up with one. I think I go with two top ones. One
Okay.
is let life happen. You cannot, I think if you've had a rough childhood, you try to control and plan very neurotically कि ऐसा जाना चाहिए, and then when it doesn't go that way, you're like, oh no. So one, accepting life and letting it flow, and two is just being really adamant about the right things. कि जो करना है वो करना है. I think just
I
set on the
knew you
path.
were a rebellious kid. Anyway, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. All right, Siddharth, you ready?
Yes.
Siddharth, come on, man. You gave a priority to all the females. So, all right, Siddharth, the first question is the one that if you were not a mental health professional, what would you be doing now?
A doctor, MBBS.
Oh, okay. Okay, very close and similar answers. Okay, Shalian, all right. Why counseling industry is dominated by females, you think?
Just because of that, in our society, boys, they used to nurture and parenting like this, that they used to stigmatize some professional as femaleish. They try to stigmatize some professional as manly. So this is the main reason I think that this profession is dominated by women, because I don't think that there is no difference between a profession who is feminist or it is manly. Every professional is suitable for anyone.
Absolutely.
But the difference is in our mind, in our upbringing. So I think that's why this world is dominated by the female. Nothing else.
Okay, beautiful.
The same brain and same capacity. If we want to understand any other.
I got you. I think, but this was an important question to ask, especially coming from male. Why do you think? Because this industry is hellishly dominated by females and women, hellishly everywhere. I got scared. I was in Mulchan attending one of the programs. I say out of 108, there were 89 females. I was like, ooh, okay. Yeah.
My friends are saying, yeah, be very safe.
Like, surrounded by females. Okay. All right. Well, maybe that will attract men one day, and hopefully the numbers will be even. Percentage will be even. Thank you very much. What is the biggest lesson in your life? What's the biggest lesson that you learned?
I want to answer this question in Bengali with a line of Rabindranath Tagore that bhalo mondo jahai ashuk sottere lo sohoje. I have to accept my truth that comes into my life, whether it is good or bad.
Well, that's good. Very good. Who do you think, and who do you love the most in your family, and you think loves you the most?
My wife, Sayanthani.
Both ways?
Yeah.
But maybe she loves you the most, and no, both ways. Right. Okay.
actually what I am right now, what I have done in my life only for her. So I'm very, very much I'm grateful to her.
Okay, okay, beautiful. Thank you very much. The last question I would have for you is, what can be the biggest risk? And I think you can certainly tell, your wife must have told you, what can be the biggest risk marrying a psychologist, especially clinical? Yes, will is the risk. Yeah.
I think that most risky thing is the overconfidence of being a psychologist. That I can understand the other person, that makes us overconfidence, and sometimes it goes very fatal that I cannot understand and that I hurt someone unintentionally. That is the biggest risk of this process.
Spot on, spot on. Thank you very much. This was last was very insightful. True, because psychologists always are in this confidence that I know everyone, I feel everything. You're very true. I think. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Siddharth. And we have Suchitra, ma'am. You're ready?
Yeah.
Okay, starting from you. So if you were not a mental health professional, what would you be doing now?
As I say always, I would be teaching.
You will do, I'm sorry, what?
I would be teaching.
You would be teaching, okay. Okay, all right, great. And why counseling do you think is dominated by females?
Because, females are more empathetic. They think emotionally. They are very emotional, compassionate.
Okay.
Yeah, because of that.
All right, all right, all right. What is the biggest lesson you have learned in your life?
The biggest lesson is I have learned is the way the life is going, go on with the life, just go on with it.
Okay, all right, beautiful. Who do you think loves you the most and you love the most in your family?
My dad.
Both ways?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And what is the biggest risk you think there can be marrying a psychologist?
Marrying a psychologist, because the other partner always thinks she will try to understand and she will try to go deep into my mind and get out everything from my mind and my heart. Because she is a psychologist, she will know everything what I am doing.
Yeah, we know. Yeah. Okay. So the fear of thought being stolen or something like this, right? Okay. Yeah. All right. I think good. This was all I just wanted to ask. Hope I did not leave anyone. We have Shraddhanjali or someone. I think she's been not sure if she's here, but I think this was it. If any audience want to say something, want to ask any questions, I know you guys have been chatting, throughout. I've been watching so much in the chat. I was trying to read and find maybe a question, but they were not questions. They were asking questions themselves and answering themselves. So I think they literally have enjoyed their own way of doing this. So they did really, really brilliant. So if anyone's from audience want to speak something, please do that. Medha, if you're there, you can open the mic for audience. If anyone want to say something in their own voice, want to ask a question from any of the particular psychologists here, or maybe in general, or want to say something, express something, perfectly welcome.
Sure, sir. So there's a question from Tanya Badam side. So there's a web series named 13 Reasons Why.
Okay.
So in which it has been shown very clearly the suicidal tendency and the suicidal thought in a person, of a teenager actually. Mm-hmm. So she's asking for us people, normal people, like those who don't have any suicidal thoughts in their mind. Mm-hmm. So will it be good for them to watch such kind of web series, or we should avoid those kind of web series?
Right. So in a nutshell, what she's asking is, should you, with the presence and an information like this can trigger you and get you off, what this can do. What would you like to say? Any one of you?
I think you cannot ignore the fact that more and more media is capturing such sensitive topics. I think media also needs to be a little careful with the portrayal and representation, but 13 Reasons Why, and there are real life cases like that, and I think it has helped. I think even though there's a very fine line between normalizing such a you know complicated
Practice, yes.
situation, but they certainly started a conversation among the general population, and they helped people in empathizing with the character who went through all that. So young girls who are in such situations where they are bullied or they are being harassed, people in that scenario, every client that I've seen, the client usually comes and says ki, at that time I was really shamed and I was really bullied. No one understood me and no one empathized with me. No one took a stand. I was the bad person there.
Absolutely.
So there are both sides to every picture in that show. I think I've not been able to watch it. I think it's too depressing.
Okay.
Personally.
Cool.
So I've not seen. I know what it's about. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I think it has helped people in having the conversation. So
I would like to ask
you're
something.
too sensitive to it, don't watch.
Sure.
Yeah, I would like to clear the question. So my question was it was just what Medha said. So yeah, I thought that I should I have a friend who had some thoughts similar to that. So I find it helpful. Like I am able to understand and relate to the characters. Not about their suicidal thoughts, but I am able to relate with other things that they feel. So I think because this shows is having very intense emotions, and that enables a person to understand someone else's position in a better way, and we would be able to help someone. So there's the character that is Clay Jensen. He throughout the series he is trying to help someone, and then at the end he is not being able to do that. So that stresses that person. So the things like that, I can relate to the character that I want to help, but when I am not being able to help, then that stresses me. So such characters I am able to relate. So I think it's helpful because I get to know that I need to have a better perspective. I need to have a better knowledge if I want to help. So that answers that. But if someone is having such suicidal thoughts, so does that might trigger that person, and I should not recommend such series to that person? So that was my question. Should I or shouldn't I, because I am strong enough, not strong enough, I am able to digest that. I am able to understand their position. But not everybody
What
is
I
like you
understood
find
was,
it depressive.
so whether you want to recommend such a show to someone or not, so that definitely depends to how sensitive that person is in that issue, and is that person on an edge in the present scenario. If you think they're on an edge, definitely showing something that can trigger an even stronger emotional response in them when they're already on an edge, it's not recommended at all. That's what I mean. I'm
So
sure
yeah,
other
just throw your personal opinion. That's all. You don't have to just.
I feel it is just about the perception, and one has to see that how you look into that. You if the person has a strong perception, or to way looking is in a different way, if you're creating a right perception as a knowledgeable, then of course this series is amazing, awesome. But if the person will see in a different level, then I would suggest that not to recommend this.
I always suggest that if something, any type of content make you comfortable to see, you go through it. If you feel uncomfortable, don't go. I believe that until and unless if you are comfortable, if you accept the whole thing as it is not real, it is a show. So if you very much attach with the show and it affects on your daily life, so don't go with it. If you be comfortable, if you can understand that is not real, then you can watch. That is my opinion and advice.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. All right. Any more questions we have, Medha? I'm sure there must be a lot of questions, but just to limit 1 or 2 questions, we are already have extended. This is what happens in general talk show. Time flies like anything, Can you ever imagine, and I may ask you all the panelists, sitting 3 hours is a task. Or you have successfully done it. So, yeah, that's what happens, That's the beauty of.
I think so. there is some question in chat box.
Okay, there are a lot many questions. I think Medha can screen maybe, and people in fact answering each other, so they are all happy, and because we have a lot of professionals too in the audience. So Rupal has been answering a lot of questions, asking a lot of questions too. Rebecca has been answering a lot of questions. I think, I'm not sure if she's right now here. And gradually, we want to let you know that we will be doing a program on international levels. We have a lot of people from outside. We would love to see you one side, either side of it, if you have time, not. So just to stay connected any which way you want. Okay. So yes, anyone else is raising hand, or someone else want to say something? It's better if you can voice it. That'll be nice. Priyanka has been raising hand. Priyanka, you wanted to say something? Or this is your old hand being raised? Oh, it's possible. Okay. What's Dr. Rupal is asking a lot of questions. Can you answer it? So he's been asking, I think. Depressive patient must not, as panic attacks often hit hard. So many things in the chat box. So why in teenagers? So yeah, his main question is why the suicidal thoughts and attempts are more in teenagers. So maybe if you can answer this part of question.
I think I've been first-hand experiencer of the dramatic teenage phase. So I'd say that everything is way more intense as a teenager. We've all been through teenage phase, and every emotion is super heightened, and also the hormonal factors are there, so they make you more emotional and more vulnerable. And also you don't have the experience and the confidence in yourself at that point to know that you're going to survive and come out of just about anything.
That's right.
So lack of experience and that internal hormonal ups and downs also, they contribute, I think.
All right, thank you very much. Anyone else?
I think these are the years that.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, that's all right.
I thought these are the years, I think, that are the personality is actually getting formed, and they have, as Shrishti said it so correctly, they have very less confidence in their own ability. So as counselors or as parents, it's our job to make them feel very confident and responsible. And we should understand maturity has nothing to do with age. That's something that I've learned in life. So they can be mature enough to be responsible for their own actions, their own thoughts, and their own life, despite being teenagers. But that right has to be given to them. You have to make them feel that they are in charge of their life, and the decisions that they make is their decision, and they are respected for that decision. A lot of times there's this uncertainty of what do I do, how do I do, who will say what, what my parents will say, and a lot of pressure on them. Certainly. Obviously, that pressure creates a feeling of hopelessness and then suicidal thoughts.
Okay. Thank you very much. Dr. Archana, yeah, you wanted to say something?
The thing is that environment make a lot of difference. Second thing, because of the very noisy and very disturbing environment always already have processed in them or implanted them into this end of the suffering, So that is not only that. Second thing is the Carolyn girl, she was she didn't have a online setup, and the parents says no, we don't have, and she had made an attempt, she committed suicide. The thing is that they have a lot of rebellious because they are hypersensitive, and the connection with the parents are not that strong. So, and they have their own individuality, and they wanted to raise their voice through that. That's why I think so they are taking the drastic step like that.
Sure. Please, Siddharth. Yes, please.
Yes, I want to say one more point along with this all valid point, that is impulsivity. Teenage is the adolescence period, is the period that impulse main driving everyone. So they don't think about the of suicide and the incident is more higher. As the maturity grows, it decreases the rates of suicidality because impulsivity decreases along with the age and maturity. That's it.
Okay, scientific, very scientific. I think this is all. I we have talked a lot, and I think most of the questions, in fact, the list of questions that I started with were actually filtered from a lot of questions. It was you must have realized all questions were unique, that it was not just related with all, just based on a lot of other points, possible points where people start having the suicidal thought. I really want to wish you best, and I want to wish goodbye. But before I do that, I would love to know your experience as an expert and panelist, one by one, just, and then we can bid goodbye. We'll start from Srishti because she has spoken a lot. So yeah.
I mean, initially you said that I'm like silent and I'm patient.
I know. I was just provoking you. Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay, so it was a great, it was better than I expected. I had no idea what to expect. I did no research whatsoever before signing up for this, because I was like, this is an important topic. I have to talk about it. And in fact, like on my little blog that I have on my Instagram, I have been, requesting people to come forward and share their mental health struggles. I have put up my own video, and then after that, people were like, okay, cool, we're doing this with you. So I completely believe in speaking up and speaking out wherever is possible. And I think it was amazing, and all the panelists were, it's really nice to gain so much perspective from so many different angles, and it's been an honor. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much. This was definitely also an honor to have you here, Srishti. I want to learn something. I want to learn your experience, Dr. Archana. How has this been? Being a panelist, and interacting with the audience, there's so much of discussion.
I was really honored, and it was really pleasant to talk on this subject because it has a lot of insight. And in a small words, there's a lot of things are happening which we all came to know at the different point, and even we can be useful in our profession. We really, I have taken a lot of people's as a panelist by the point of view that how we can also work. So just brushing up your again the thoughts and everything. So it was a really good. And thank you so much. I'm really honored, and thank you to you also. That was really way you have conducted. Thank you so much. It was really pleasant. Thank you all the people, all the experts. Thank you so much.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you very much. This is always gratitude and attitude. I love that. Thank you so very much. Siddharth, what's your opinion? I mean, you must be a different, new, I'm not sure, and then you might want to say, how was it?
Yes, it's a very wonderful, pleasant journey with all the panelists, because it's a very different kinds of perspective from everyone. Being a faculty, I have to face this kind of talk show frequently. So the pattern is the same. The way you conduct the show is totally different, and I'm very impressed on your conducting the show. Thank you very much for selecting me. I'm feeling very honored, and it's a pleasant journey along with the information I'm taking home. So it's really that Dr. Archana says that it's brush up of your own knowledge and all these things. So it's really a very different journey on a very known topic that we have to walk daily basis. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Siddharth, in one sentence, wanted to say, made my Sunday. Thanks. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. I would take Amita. What's your perspective on this, Amita?
Yeah. So really, Suveen, I really enjoyed it thoroughly, and your listening skills are really amazing. The way you have paraphrasing everyone's thoughts, the way you have given the main points, that was really amazing. I really enjoyed it. And earlier I was actually nervous because this is my first seminar as a speaker, seriously, webinar as a speaker. So I was really nervous, but now I'm really cool. I'm so happy, and it's like a very good experience for me. Thanks a lot.
That's like summarizing anything. I know during all the talk show where you made a lot of people happy, but in the end of the day, you're also happy. Happiness is contagious. This is so beautiful. So thank you very much. This was great, Mita, having you here. Shadi.
I have no words. It's been a pleasure learning from such wonderful people. Everybody is so experienced, and they come with their own sharing of whatever the years of experience that they all have. So I feel absolutely humbled and honored. Thank you so much, every one of you. Suveen, you're an amazing intermediator, and there is no doubt, Amita is very right. You really pick up the right points, you paraphrase perfectly, you repeat the important points. You're doing a fantastic job, I must say. It's been a pleasure, and the sensitive topic that it is, if I have managed to be a contribution to even one single person, I think not only my Sunday is made, not only my month is made, I think I'm satisfied for a very long time.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, the audience also, for giving their time and being there, and also Counsel India for giving us this platform. Very happy.
Very much. Very good. Very good. While your Sunday is made, you have made a lot of Sundays today. So,
I sure hope so.
So thank you very much. And you very valid. You mentioned that we were very hesitant in picking this topic because the topic is very, it's very sensitive, and we were discussing already. I don't know how people are gonna listen. So we were like, okay. So and it's like no, this is who we are. If you don't talk suicide and you somehow relate yourself as a mental health professional, you might want to rethink about yourself. So we were like, it doesn't matter.
I'd like to thank you for one thing. I think initially I was going to keep my normal stoic professional face on, but then initially you said I don't want this to be like a conventional typical one. I want you to be yourself and honest. That really helped me, and I think it helped all of us to be way more raw. And I think when mental health professionals are raw, nothing can be better than that. So thank you so much.
Required to be raw. They are required to be raw. This is our entire effort, to request them in any which tactics and tips and tricks we can come to make them as real as possible.
And so if I can just say one more thing,
please.
I mean, everybody else on the panel have come with years of experience, and it's amazing. For me, it's an honor to be alongside such people. Srishti, I must say you're very young, and yet you spoke very, very beautifully. So I have to admire your presence in such a place. Absolutely. So it's been a great takeaway for me from everybody.
Absolutely. Very articulated too. Most of you, what I really loved in all of you, articulated. You really know what you wanted to say. And I always suggest people, if I prep them for the show, I always say that answer objectively of subjective questions. So questions will be subjective, answer has to be objective. If you can manage to do that, you're a great speaker. So this is what Suchita must be thinking, why me in the last? Because you have had a privilege of being first many times. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Always last. Oh, yes. It is a really wonderful
foundation,
experience.
Ma'am. Foundation. Last is a foundation. Yes.
Foundation. Yes. Wonderful experience, and your way of speaking, the way you conduct the show is really, really commendable. And the topic, it was taken, actually, I wasn't chosen, I think. But I told Shivam, no, I want to speak on this because it was somewhere, related to my personal life also. So I wanted to be a part of it. So I'm very thankful because I'm here on this panel, and
very much.
I'm taking a lot from here, from all the panelists, whatever they shared. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you very much. No problem at all. Just to let you know, you will also have the access of this video, this entire conversation on YouTube real soon. Maybe after a couple of days, once the final editing is done, you will have access to it. So you can literally not only the information, the love, the knowledge, wisdom that you have learned, solutions, you will have a chance to keep it with you as long as you want.
Yeah.
So that will always be there. Thank you very much. Anyone from the audience want to say anything? I'm totally open. And anyone from the audience. Medha, if there is anyone, you can let them know. I can see a lot of audience is still there. I know we have extended, but if anyone in the audience, cool, and you can interrupt me anytime, pause me, cut me in, I don't mind. So meanwhile, I'm proceeding to finish this. I literally want to thank you. I don't just want to say thank you. I literally want to say what I loved in who, as a host, as a coordinator. So something very common here, you all are very knowledgeable, plus you spoke your heart out. That was really crucial for me because this was my objective, to ensure that you speak your heart out. Getting out of this professional zone, if you can be more real. That was one. Shadi always, the beauty of Shadi is that She understands the questions, and she always tries to put the questions in the order the answer should be. She gives you a flow. So you start from here, you stop here, then you take it here. That is not important. Now come on here. This is more important. So that flow is something, Shadi, that I noticed, and I love that, because that creates like a storyboard. So you have a question, this is what it is, and you're done. Altana, I think, she very pinpointed and focused. Won't say much. Whatever she stays on the point, right on the point, very, very pinpointed. And she has a very good skill of, that I have noticed, not exaggerating. She doesn't exaggerate. So I think, this is skill. Maybe, she has developed, that she has what she has. But this makes a lot of impact, because in communication, sometimes it's not about how much you say, but how much there is a say in what you say. So I think that really, really, really matters. So I really loved and I enjoyed that, pinpointed conversations and the answers that we have. Siddharth, you were amazing, because you had a wholesome understanding of. You literally know, and most of the time, what I really loved about you is you only wanted to answer when you wanted to answer. It's like, when you really thought that you had something valuable to add. And every time you brought yourself in, you definitely have something valuable to add, and different than what our panelist has already spoken. So that was good. Filtering the information quickly, what's already been said, what's not been said, what's not been emphasized, what can be more emphasized. So that's something, that's a great quality, finding out, especially when all points are good, and you quickly filter out and you come up with something that you feel is worth mentioning now. So that was a great skills. Apart from the already skills here, I'm just trying to, say, Amita is very polite and sweet all the time. So her beauty is, even if she says the simple thing she says with politeness, you're mesmerized. You're like, okay, perfectly all right. And this is one of the beautiful sign of counselors and psychologists when you say, because it's your personality always impact people. Same thing other people say, you might puff off. When someone else says, you're taken in. But she has that charm of saying things soft, simple, short, and here it is. She always, and what also I have noticed that, she won't use a lot of jargons. She will keep things very, very simple in a very communicative language, very conversational language. But that's something, and why I'm telling you all these specifics, you might want to put everything together in you. So, and then, be even better. Shruti, you were amazing. Of course, being an L&D professionals, it comes with package, right? So you definitely know how to present, how to be articulated. So articulation is something, articulation of thoughts, definitely have articulation of language and sounds, but at the same time, articulation of thought is very, very important. Plus, there has to be certain energy when you're validating your point, and you demonstrated that. When you believe in something, you say something differently. And I think that's, you say something with all the power that you have, all the conviction that you have. So you demonstrated a lot of conviction. What you believed, no matter how people believed it. So I think, that was a beautiful thing to notice. So this was a package that you presented to me, and this was my learning points. While people learn a lot while watching people, not just listening, and there are many mediums that you have. Shruti, in the beginning, you were saying that you're really good at observance. Your life experience has been so much, and I would say that you don't have to read a lot of books if you're good at reading life. You're cool. So if you're good at reading life, you read people. Don't worry about it. Leave the books for others. So just in case. But that's all. Thank you so very much. We were totally in love with the way you presented and facts. You helped a lot of people. You met a lot of lives, and I'm sure your learning will be passed on, cascaded, from one person to another. That's the beauty of, because learning is very catching. I'm sure, and for the audience, I want to say that please understand, not everything people say will be important, but the only important thing you're looking for will be in that everything. So I'm sure you have learned, you have heard people, and you definitely have got one thing that sounded everything to you. So I think, this makes the whole purpose. Thank you so very much. This was a pleasure. Anyone else? Medha, you have to say, because many times I end the show And then in the back say, oh, come on, I had something to say this, and Meera, you want to say something? And we want to finish with you.
Thank you so very much to all the experts. You have shared so much of valuable points and so much of insights on that important topic to be shared with everyone in the society.
Yeah.
Like being a social worker, I have also like listened a lot of stories and things from people, and this is the least talkative topic we have with us. And thanks a lot for all the experts to share such a valuable thoughts with us in a very articulated that the sir said, and in a very precise way actually. So thanks a lot for everyone. Also the audience to be very patient, to be very the active listeners.
Yes.
I really round of applause for all the audience to be with
Absolutely. I
us.
think we must. This was wonderful.
Yeah, thanks a lot for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Meera.
Thank you,
We will
everyone.
keep bringing you topics like this. We are really soon going to start that, debate all the topics that generally people hesitate to talk about. We promise we'll bring you that. The topics that generally the world doesn't want to talk about that. Okay,
Looking forward to something even more exciting than that.
absolutely, absolutely. We will bring it there. Thank you so very much. You have a good day. You made many people's day. You take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
to
so much.
everybody.
Bye to everyone.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Experience.
Bye-bye.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Pleasure, everyone.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.